I know this is going to be a situation. I know it. Why do I look dark? Hold on, let me fix it. I know this is going to be a situation. But the reason why this is worth talking about, because sometimes when we get into blue collar, it's my new word. When we talking about blue collar and blue collar business, because there is a such thing, we focus on the work just like we do in our actual business. Some business people do better because they know how to get from behind the tool and get behind the desk. That's the big move. Get from behind the tool, right? And get out of the truck, get out of the construction, and be the person that just sits in the desk, and most likely things will do better. But what we really have to discuss here is stuff that's more than just the work, the actual function of it. A word has been circling around, high value man. Why are you touching on this, TB? Because it's a serious topic and I'm in media and that's what I do. Okay. Can a trucker be a high value man according to the standards set down by Kevin Samuels? Do you fit? I know if you listen to the women calling in, you believe you do not fit. Well, I'm going to bring a documented, legit, high value guy known in the streets as Money Green Dean. And he's going to discuss with you what he thinks how a high value man pertains to us. So he's going to break down what is a high value man, because you know that his courses is to get you to that high value man status. And he's going to talk about what it felt like when he reached high value man status, how women react to you differently. He's going to give you the whole thing. Okay, as simple as that. Let me go on back out of here. Once I get boom, Money Green Dean, how are you doing?
What's going on, TB? How you feeling, man? Can you hear me okay?
Listen, man, I can't call it. If I did, I might spoil it. But let me tell you, the big thing is, I'm glad you here to talk about this, and it's not just dingy old me. If we're speaking from a blue collar standpoint, we had to bring somebody in here who has the legit credentials to speak from this place and it be received a certain way. So the title of the video we're on right now, because I got you in the hot seat.
I'm in the hot seat. Okay.
You're in the hot seat. Can truckers be a high value man according to Kevin Samuels? So can you tell us what the prerequisites are?
Absolutely. Well, first, let me break it down like this. So if you're watching for the first time and you don't know who I am, my name is E. Dean Cole, and I own Dean Cole Coaching. We are a online coaching services, and we provide business coaching, life coaching. I own a consulting firm. We specialize in working capital, alternative finance, and business credit development. That's who I am. That's what I do. If you want to find out more about my content, you're able to go to Dean, just type in Dean Cole on YouTube. You'll find my YouTube platform where you can follow my life as being a high value man. You dig? Looking at my content, you'll be able to see that I also own Atlanta Lights Restaurant and Lounge, which is the #1 restaurant and lounge in Puerto Plata. We are the #1 restaurant and lounge in Puerto Plata, and yes, I am the owner. We're actually about to come up on our first year, bro. Our first year in business, being the #1 restaurant and lounge. We're popping. We're overlooking the ocean. So, for all intents and purposes, if you've never seen me before, that's who I am. That's what I do. And so, yes, I'm going to talk about what I know for a fact it is to be a high value man. My stance on Kevin Samuels, because Kevin and I are both in the manosphere, and Kevin and I used to do panels together under O'Shea Duke Jackson. You remember O'Shea? You remember when?
Yeah,
You remember when they called me? You and I, we was talking about. You was like, man, be careful when you go over there to that space, because we was talking about Tommy Sotomayor and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it was before I went live with Tommy Sotomayor.
How real it can get.
And all of that good stuff. Yeah.
Right.
And so, that being said, For people who are watching for the first time, they don't know who I am. That's who I am. That's what I do. And so, as a high value man, my stance is absolutely a trucker can be a high value man, according to Kevin Samuel standards and according to the world standards. So basically, this is the definition of what a high value man is, according to Kevin Samuels. And also, there's one more thing that I want to add to that of what Kevin says. And well, actually, there are two more things that I want to add to that, because he says there's 6 things. I think there's 8 things that really make a high value man. But the first thing is the one that people always talk about is 6 figures. And yes, you can be a owner operator. You can be a fleet owner. You can be a dispatcher. You can be a dump truck owner. You can be a hotshot runner. You can do a LTL, less than truckload. You can do medical delivery. You can be a CDL bus driver if you do private charters like you was talking about yesterday.
Right.
Coach, you can do all of those things and earn 6 figures. So to answer that question, yes, you're able to. So in order to be a high value man, you have to make 6 figures or more. Then the second thing is you have to do it 5 years consistently, because that gives you quote unquote millionaire status. So it also gives you consistency. So it wants to say that you've been doing it 6 years, not 6 years. I think he said 5 years consistently, 6 figures or more. Right. You've been doing it 5 years consistency, because also that's going to give you a certain lifestyle. You're going to live in a certain home. You're going to have a certain level of quality to your life when you've been doing it. When you just not made 6 figures your first year, but if you're getting used to it. You dig what I'm saying? Because some people make 6 figures, they act like they lost their mind. But when you're doing it consistently, then they're like, okay, you get used to quote unquote having money. You get used to not being broke anymore. Because there's a mindset when it comes to being broke. You have to change your mindset. So that's the second thing. The third thing is having a group or having access to other high value men, like having a network of high value men. That's the good thing about my online coaching and my mentorship courses, is because you actually get a community. There's an online community of other like-minded individuals that are working towards the same goal, whether that be developing real estate, or whether that be building a fleet, or whether that be building a gym or building a bakery. It's all about being the best version of yourself, building business credit and getting funding. That is what's cool about having a mentor and having a group of people that follow that same mentors, because you have a connection and a brotherhood. Because one of the things that we talk about, how it's lonely at the top, because if you start off with somebody, a lot of times you're not going to be able to finish with the people you start off with, because their mindset isn't the same as yours. That's why it's important as a high value man to have people in your life that you can connect with and that are like-minded on the same journey as you. So he talks about having that community, that network, and then also basically he talks about having clout. So having clout is having, or quote unquote, he calls it visibility, but the not technical term, but the modern day term for this is basically having clout. Do you have any type of prestige? Like, for instance, you are the #1 YouTube trucker in the game. Like me, I'm a #1 best-selling author. I have the hottest restaurant in the city right now. I have over 30-some-odd-thousand on YouTube. My Instagram is ridiculous. So that being said, that's considered clout or visibility. And then also, what he says is, can you do that as a trucker? Yes, you're able to do that in the trucking industry if you're well known in your niche, if you're well known in your field, and you are able to add value to people's lives. If you're able to, and that's another thing that a high value man, he says that you're able to add value to the group. So you're accepted by other high value men, because this is the thing. If your mind not together, your mind not right, we're not going to hang out with you, because you're a distraction. Like if you can't get your mind right, if you have negative habits and you have things that are causing you that's stopping you from being the best version of yourself, a lot of high value men is like, we know, like you're not gonna get into the inner circle. Like, we see where you at, you're there, but we won't let you in, because we have to protect what we have, and also we know that sometimes you're not gonna get us because your mindset is different. Like, I won't take the time to argue with a person how something is possible, because if somebody's mind isn't there, they're going to try to argue with you and try to convince you not to do what it is that you want to do. They think sometimes they think you think too big. Like somebody said, like, who do you think you are? Like, have you ever heard somebody say, like, who do you think you are? Or he think he all that?
Right.
They ain't high value. They can't come on this side. You got to stay on that side. You can't sit at the table with us. You got to stay over there.
So if they're not high value, and the way he's speaking on it is, most women want, even if I guess they don't even know they want a high value man. Some of the comments that I'm getting is that being high value is unnecessary. I'm getting, without good character, you're worth nothing. I'm getting a lot of subtle backlash on the whole premise of a high value man.
Well, see, that's the thing. So that's why I say I think it's 8 things. He says it's 6. I think the 8th thing is, one, the pursuit of a better version of yourself. I feel like my mentor and everybody that I know that is either a multimillionaire going to millionaire status or at the top of their field, they're always working on being a better version of themselves. I feel like they're always working on self-development. They're always working on learning something new, becoming something better, earning something new, living quote unquote, living their best life. And I think so that's one of the things that he doesn't talk about that I think is important, is you have to talk about being a better version of yourself. Self-development, which is having to make sure that you have oneness in your spirit, your soul, and your mind. Then also your physical body. That's going to get a lot of truckers right now, because too many truckers is 450 pounds. Too many truckers got high blood pressure, and it's just the lifestyle. And so you got to be in physical shape to where you're physically attractive to a woman. Because if you're not physically attractive to a woman, then you're not a high value man, in my opinion. That's just what I believe. I believe that physical attraction is very important to be a high value man. And one of the things is you want to make sure that you're in shape and getting in shape. And you don't have to have a 6-pack. Some like a lot of times the girls used to say, he got to have 6 figures. He got to be 6 feet or taller, and he got to have a 6-pack. And she got a bag. She got a bundle of weave in her head that's been in her head for three months. Ain't washed her. Ain't seen her scalp in 2 years. Talking about what we need to do, and yet and still she got red Cheeto fingernails. All on her fingernails. And you know what I'm saying? If you take her blood type is going to say ragu, because she's so overweight and thick, but yet she wants a man to have all of these attributes. So that being said, that's where a lot of this rhetoric came from. But yeah, so people say, yeah, you don't have to have all those things in order to be a good guy. You don't. And that's what and if you listen to what Kevin Samuels said, he says, why do you chick need a high value man? Why can't you just be happy with a regular dude?
Yeah.
And a lot of times the reality of the situation is a lot of these chicks that want to be with high value men, they don't know how to get us. They don't know how to keep us. And a lot of times if they don't know how to keep us, you're not what we want. So if you're not what I want, what does it matter if you want me? Like, oh my gosh, he irritates the black off my back. For the past, all these chicks used to always say, oh, you got something. Like even now, like I was spending time with a female friend of mine. What's today? Tuesday,
yes.
I was spending time with a female friend of mine Sunday. And she was talking about all these girls want you. You want you got all of these girls. And I said, it don't matter if they want me. It matters who I want. So of course they want me. They all want me. You understand what I'm saying? But it don't matter who wants me. It matters who I want. And then also where they at. I mean, I don't have a lot of girls in my life because I just can't do it. You dig? I have my select few that I like to deal with. You dig what I'm saying? But chasing women is a distraction. That's one of the things that I agree with when it comes to Kevin Samuels, is that that's why a wife is important. That's why you have to have a good wife and a good woman on your team. Like I'm red pill. I believe in being red pill, but I'm not.
Explain red pill to the laymen that don't understand what that means.
Okay, I'm gonna break that down. But first, we got to do a temperature check. Hold on, because we about to get into this. First of all, y'all need to break yourselves on these likes. We have only 21 likes. We'll have 21 thumbs up. I need for the rest of you guys to hit that like button.
Out of 130 people.
Yeah, we got 130 people watching. I need for you guys to be participators, not just spectators. If you guys want me to teach on this and to teach and open up my life and be transparent with y'all, it's going to cost you something. And it might not cost you any money, but it is going to cost you hitting that like button and hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to my man Trucker Brown. We'll get into it in a minute. I might
Now,
got up a cigar. It's been a
like I
long
said,
day.
you're getting a spa backlash right now. You understand that, don't you?
Yeah, hey, and if they want to call in and talk about it, we can talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't scratch my head unless it itch. I don't dance unless I hear music. I say what I say, and I mean it 10 toes down.
Well, Spirit Driven
Yes, sir.
says materialistic people are a turn off. Label whores, sick face emoji.
Okay.
She ain't liking it, Dean. You're turning her off, bro.
Hey, that's fine. Everything ain't for everybody, but let me ask her this question though. Does she pay her bills off of lollipops and gumdrops and good wishes? How she pay her bills? How does she eat? Does she go out and does she farm all of her food, or does she pay somebody financial, quote unquote, material in order to feed herself?
Well, Spirit Driven, this is your chance to call in. You talk to Dean.
Yeah, let's talk about it, Spirit Driven. We can have a conversation about it.
I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna be an advocate right now. Okay, not because I'm messing. I just want to be able for her to interpret it the way she want to say it. Dean, sometimes, how do I say this? Dean, sometimes you rub people wrong. You're sitting there. What are you drinking out there, San Domingo? Champagne cocktails? You're sitting there with your watch on and your nice shirt, your tie. You got a stogie going, a little yak. That pisses people off. Hold on 1 second. She just fired back at you.
I can't. No, she not firing back unless she hit the link in the Hold on, she not fired back unless she hit the link in the description and come talk to me. She could talk to me, but we ain't playing them games.
I actually have not dropped the link yet.
Oh, you haven't dropped the link yet? Okay, my bad.
Link yet? We're gonna get there, but before we get there, you said high value man. Explain to us what is red pill.
Okay, I'll explain to y'all what red pill is as soon as, because I'm an avid red pill.
Women don't like red pill people.
It's okay. They ain't gotta like it. All right, we have 100. We have only 50 thumbs up. Once we get to 75 likes, I'll explain what red pill is.
You understand, red pill, it incites an anger in women because if I could somehow speak for them, that they feel like it means you don't value or need a woman. So that's different. So there's a difference. So I'm glad so we could talk about this. So there's something that's called MGTOW. MGTOW is men. Matter of fact, I want everyone to, if you guys are enjoying this, if you guys are with me, I want everyone to say MGTOW. Matter of fact, let's do a temperature check while we waiting for these thumbs up to come up, because y'all think I'm lying. I am not lying. I'm not gonna. Y'all gonna, if we gonna have this salaciousness and I'm gonna talk about this, you guys are gonna have to participate with. It's gonna get messy in here real soon. I'm just letting you know that.
Yeah, I understand that. So they're gonna have to participate. But while we waiting for them to do that, let's ask this question. If there's anybody that's watching that's red pill, I want you to say red pill. If you're watching and you are MGTOW, I want you to say MGTOW. If you know what it is, if you don't know what it is, what any of them is, I want you to say don't know. So I want you guys to participate with us. And even if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to make a mind muscle connection with this content and participate with us as if you are watching live. Okay, so we got okay, so here we go. We got Midnight Road Training. Was that Midnight Road Training is MGTOW. All right, Manasseh Musa is red pill. We got Adrian Davidson is red pill. Well, Heavy D says he doesn't know. The Way Trucker said he's red pill alpha. That's what I'm talking about. The Wavy Trucker. All right, Von Cobb is red pill. Not a clue. Jessfield says not a clue. Kenneth says red pill. All right, L Hunt says don't know. Omnipresent says he's red pill. All right, P Detroit says don't know. Ronnie is red pill. Okay, there's a lot of don't knows. Brett Gentleman says don't know. Life is J Lamar says don't know. Trucking DT says that he's MGTOW. Jay Gannon says that he's red pill. Okay, that's good stuff. Where we at with the likes, brother? So we can see if we can get.
We are at 63 likes.
Okay, we have 63 likes. All right, so let me go ahead and break down to you guys what the difference is. So MGTOW stands for Men Going Their Own Way. MGTOW, MGTOW. MGTOW is men going their own way. I am not MGTOW. All right. I still, like I said, I believe in marriage, and I'm not purple. For the red pill community, I'm gonna break it down. I'm not purple. I'm not a mixture of blue and red. I'm a red pill. MGTOW is for men. They have given up on the idea of marriage. They've given up on needing a woman for anything. That means that they're going to be 100% self-sufficient. They're going to do everything themselves because they believe, not me, they believe that women aren't worth anything, that the modern woman today is not worth nothing. And the modern woman today, not me, this is MGTOW, and the modern woman today has no value. And that is what MGTOW is. Men going their own way. They think that women, the modern women today, have caused more trouble than they're worth, and they're trash. That's what MGTOW is. I'm not MGTOW. Okay, I'm red pill. Okay, now red pill means that it actually comes from the phenomenon of the Matrix, right? So now, granted, let me show you guys once again, for all of you guys that are watching and you know who I am. Let me rephrase to you guys again, show you who I am. This is how red pill I am. The way I'm so red pill is I do not live in the United States of America. I live in the Dominican Republic, where submissive women reside. I have the #1 restaurant and lounge in Puerto Plata that's overlooking the ocean. Yes, so you guys can remember, just so I can show you guys, I'm not just talking about it, but I actually be about it. I'm red pill. So so basically what red pill means is that it comes from the philosophy of the Matrix. Everybody remember the movie The Matrix, right?
Yes.
All right. And so in the Matrix, it states that when you're in the Matrix, there is a place of not being woke or being asleep, and you are going along through life as if you are just mediocre. That's the best way I can describe it, is you're stuck in mediocrity. And being blue pill means that you're comfortable and you're not trying to be the best version of yourself. You're just trying to figure out how to get along with being mediocre and being uncomfortable. So blue pill and red pill, in the philosophy of red pill, it means that you're now being introduced to a new way of thinking. And this new way of thinking causes you to get out of the matrix, and it increases your level of awareness. And so now you're going to be woke. Or once someone presents knowledge to you, if you want to be blue pill, you'll be blue pill, and then you'll just agree with what the status quo and what society is. A lot of us that don't live in the United States call the US the matrix because it's the #1 place of basically they're just creating factories of followers, right? So that's basically the breakdown of red pill. Now, what red pill has to do when it comes to the relationship between men and women is that red pill men believe that the modern woman today is drastically been the modern family today has been drastically affected by the women's lib movement, and that the women's liberation movement has caused a lot of women to walk away from their roles of what it means to be a good woman. And now a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them no longer have value to alpha men because they're too busy trying to be alpha men themselves. And so because of that, that's kind of how what red pill means. Red pill basically means that you understand your role as a man, because there has been an attack on masculinity. There's been an attack specifically on the African-American men, but there's a lot of Caucasian men as well. They call the Proud Boys. You know what I'm saying? And we are just men that believe that in masculinity, we believe in being the best version of ourselves. And we have been awoken to the idea that women's liberation has ruined a lot of the family, especially when it comes to modern day women.
Wow. So that's why you think that none of the women are calling in, even though the link's out there?
No, they can call in. We can talk about it. No, I think
the reason they're not, because the link is out there. They could call in right now.
Yeah. So yeah, like the young lady that said she fired back at me, we could have a serious conversation about it. I mean, if they want to talk about, that's basically, so that's my stance. So just like I said, I'm not MGTOW. I do believe in marriage. I do believe in the traditional roles of marriage. I do believe that a woman is supposed to be there to support and help her husband and help her man. And I believe that the man is the head of the house. I believe that you only have one head of the house. That's the reason how come you can't even put down two head of the houses when you do your income tax. So you mean to tell me the whole entire world is supposed like that? We got two heads? No, two heads is a monster. You can't have two heads. You got to have one or the other. So that's what I mean by red pill. And so also I only date submissive women. I only date women that understand and know their role and their place as a woman. And I don't have the time or the energy to try to teach a woman how to be a woman. Unfortunately, because the dynamic of the marriage structure is so messed up, a lot of women don't know what it means to be a wife or a mother because they mama was a baby mama or a side chick themselves. And so they don't know how to be wives because they never saw what it means to be a wife. Just like a lot of men. That's the reason why mentorship is so important. That's why you need a mentor to help guide you on how to be a husband and how to be the best version of yourself as a man, because you never saw what it was to be a man. You never saw what it was to be a father because unfortunately your mama ran your daddy off. Or unfortunately your dad did something crazy and he ended up going to jail and getting penitentiary charges for trying to do what he thought was right for the family. So because of that family structure dynamic, that's what causes a huge divide in the dating pool right now.
Listen, I think it's proven just in the fact that no one called in. No girl called in. The dudes
So
are.
let's see if people agree with me. Do they think I'm correct? Do you agree? If you agree, I want you to say I agree.
Says that she agrees with you.
All right, who says that they agree with me?
She says she agrees with you. I don't know if she's saying that because she's scared to call in or not, but there's no woman on here that's willing to call in and even agree with you. Like even just say, hey, you know what? I agree with you. They're not even willing to do that. So I don't understand. I don't understand that. There's 200 people in here total.
200 people watching right
now.
now.
They obviously like the conversation. I'm looking at the metrics on the of the screen. They like the conversation, but here we go. We have a woman that called in. 1 second. I'm back out, and it's just you and her in here. I'm out of here. All right.
Okay, let's talk about it. There's nothing wrong with healthy conversation.
Mr. Dean Cole, it's Erica Permenter. How are you?
This is whom?
Erica.
Hey, Eric, you my client. That don't count, Erica. You my client. And Erica, I have some good news. We actually got your approval up a little bit higher.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. But I wanted to comment on the subject matter.
Okay.
And so I tend to agree with you. And I think that you're correct in that oftentimes in this day and time, women are in a position where we've had to take on a role of authority, right? And so the roles have been blended because the examples that were set prior to, not for all, but for some, had the woman as the head of the household.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and now I was fortunate to grow up in a two-parent household where my father was the head of the household.
Wait. However, pause for a second. Now, for you all that are listening, let me explain to you who's talking to you. This is Erica, the CEO of 1011 Trucking, who's married to Greg, an alpha man himself. So she's married. She has a very strong husband who led their family to success, and she followed his lead. So I want to make sure that for the people who don't know backstory, because she's actually a client of mine, her and her husband hired me for coaching and hired me for mentorship for their business. And so she is a wife. She's not a single mother. She ain't some baby mama. And notice she said that her father was the head of the house. So she was able to know what it was like to follow her husband. If she did not follow her husband into the trucking industry, then they wouldn't have the success that they have right now.
Now, let me be clear, though. Let me be clear. So
yes,
my dad made the mistake in raising me as an alpha female.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the first time I was married for 20 years and I was the head of
Mm.
the household. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I
And
do.
so over time, I've learned that, okay, the man is the head of the household, but the woman is the neck. You can't have a stable head without a neck.
Absolutely.
And so that's where couples need to be united in that, whether they're married or not. I'm a proponent of marriage, but if, some people just don't believe in that, and that's fine. They have a partnership, but somebody has to take the lead. Now, where women have to understand and where our role is vital as being alpha is we need to have the ability to step in and take control where necessary. So Greg, being the alpha man that he is, has faith in knowing that if he can't step up, his wife can.
And that's good. And that's what adds value. That's if you look at the number one best-selling book of all time, when it talks about relationships, it says that a woman is supposed to be a help meet, meaning that you're supposed to help meet the need that I have in my life. The word submit is a compound word. Sub means underneath, mission or submit is underneath the mission of the man. I personally believe that a man has no business getting married until he knows what his mission is in life. Because how can you ask a woman to submit to you and you don't even know where you're going as a man? So, as a man, in order for you to ask for a woman to submit, you need to know where you're going in life. That's red pill philosophy. So, you have to be the best version of yourself if you want a woman to submit to that. And so, that being said, I agree with you 100%. At the same time, like you said, that you are the neck. And that's the difference between MGTOW and red pill. Red pill realizes that there are women there that are woke and that are red pill and that are submissive and that understand what it means to be with the alpha man, and they will submit to an alpha man, and then their resources become one and they can do some things together. But then MGTOW believes that a woman is below them and has no value at all. And like I said, I'm not MGTOW. I don't believe in that philosophy. I believe that a woman's job is to help get their family, not just a man, but their family, to the best place in life. And that's through submission. And like you said, being there when he needs you, being there when your family needs you, being there to give that extra support. And like you said, a head can't move without the neck. You have to be there. But this is the thing. A neck has to know its place. The neck can't act like it's the head, and the neck can't act like it's the foot. The neck can't act like it's the elbow. The neck needs to know what it means to be the neck. It needs to know that it wants to be that support and give that support.
Totally agree. Now here's again where we have a quandary, because a lot of the generations that come below, I'll be 50 in October, so I'm a few generations
Congratulations.
above. Thank you. I'm a few generations above, so I've had the privilege in seeing the traditional way and then the current way. And so to that point, oftentimes what happens is when you have the millennials and the Gen Yers, they're used to not seeing the man in that dynamic. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so a lot of the
Absolutely.
quote unquote lower value women that Kevin Samuel speaks of haven't had an instance where they've seen a woman in that neck or that submissive role, because that woman has
Absolutely.
played the head of the household this entire time, because the man, for whatever reason,
Was
has
not
been
there.
absent
And
from the household.
1 second.
Yep.
And this is where Diggy Down Brown comes in. Why has the man been absent? Mass incarceration, the project of Pruitt Lago,
Right.
the Willie Lynch letters. Now, I agree with that
Exactly.
100%, but I just want to put that simple thing into context, and I am officially back out of the way.
But yeah, I agree with what you said 100. And you
Well,
basically,
and that's
like we,
the thing, Trucker Brown, you're absolutely correct. Yep.
yep. That's the reason, like I
Go ahead,
mentioned
E.
before, a lot of women don't know what it means to be submissive because they've never seen their mother be submissive. And a lot of men doesn't know what it means to be a father or know how to run a household because their father was not there. But I will say one thing though, mass incarceration is a very big part of why, but it's also the women's liberation movement, child support, and that I don't want a man, don't need a man mentality has caused a lot of that. There's so many women now that will have a child, not because they want to be a mother, not because they want to have a family, because they want to have a baby, and also because they want that money. They look at the child as a check and not as a means to creating a future. And there's different, like you said, you're 50, you're 50.
Yeah.
So a lot of the women that we're talking about are in their 20s, 18, 19, 20,
30.
Some of them even 30 years old. So 2 generations underneath you.
But they're also hearing these songs, "Have a Baby by Me, Baby, Be a Millionaire." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
standard has been set so freaking low that I think there's a lot of confusion. So go back to slavery. The man was purposely taken out of the family dynamic as a way to control the population. If you break down the man, you break down the family structure. And so that's perpetuated itself generation after generation after generation. Then you add the ingredients that Chuck Brown just mentioned, mass incarceration and all those other things. Now you lead us to a point where now women are, on one hand, confused because they haven't had any examples. And
now,
the examples that they have had are few and far between.
This also roots back to women's choice. See, the problem is most of y'all like coons. Yeah, I said it. I'm gonna put it out there. Put the booty meat on the grill. You like coons. Now, there's a guy named Oliver that drives a dump truck. His hairline's receding. He got a 401k, all that. And loves Boomquisha, we'll use, forget about it, half to death.
Mm-hmm.
Not interested. There's a guy named Bill who's an accountant. Not interested. There's a UPS man, FedEx guy. There's a male nurse. There's guys that are there, which they like to, in the manosphere, they like to call the educated lames, which nobody's genitals is secreting for. See, this is where I intersect in. When it comes to men, I put the blame on men because they like coon chicks. They like chicks running around with weave and blonde hair and all that type of stuff.
No, not red pill men. Not red pill men.
We're not discussing red pill. We're talking about coons. Coons.
Blue pill. Okay.
Yeah. Coons, which is the majority. I hate to say it, which is the majority. Just like intelligence is rare, that's why it's valuable. Coons, which is the majority, like the blonde hair, the fake bodies, that stuff. Then when they get with this person and realize they can't cook, it's an issue. Coon women get with this person who has the street look they like, the body, then they wonder why this person cannot be tender to them and handle his own business without being incarcerated. What it comes down to, we have to put a value. You have to put a value on the right thing to do. When it should start becoming sexy that Dean knows how to manage his vices. That should be sexy. It has to become sexy that a woman doesn't want to put fake stuff in her hair. That's why I say there's a multi blame that comes with it. If you stop liking jigabooing, and I hate to say, I know people hate when I say that, but it's true. That's what it is. Yeah. If your chick got weave in her hair, she's a coon. Period. I'm just throwing that out there. That's how I get down. That's how I roll. Yeah, I believe if a dude is dating a woman who has weave in her hair, he wants a white woman. That's another view that I have. It's only mine. It's only mine. My belief is if you want someone to love you, they should be able to love you and who you are. Another thing too.
And you gotta love yourself.
Say what?
And you gotta love.
Oh, you don't love yourself.
Bingo, you gotta love yourself, because if you loved yourself, we wouldn't be in your head in the first place. Or with dudes, they wouldn't have in hazel contacts and all whatever. I done seen some stuff in Atlanta. I'm just leave it there. What I will say is this is where it comes down to. I practice modesty. Now, if a woman was practicing modesty, as Kevin Samuels say, they wouldn't spit at Greg like he's just a trucker. They wouldn't do that if they were practicing modesty. They will look at him as a viable person that can provide, that can be tender, that can do what he needs to do. They wouldn't look at him like, oh, well, he's a loser because he's not making $1 million a year. That wouldn't happen. Now, here's the fact is the 1% is 1% of the population. So if all of the coons got together and wanted a high value man, there's only 1% of them. So only 1% of you are going to get it. That's where I think a lot of this stuff comes in at. And that's just my little piece. I know no one agrees with what I have to say most of the time, and it's cool. But at the same time, you're not going to agree because you're a coon. Now, 1 second. We're going to open it up for men to call in. because the
Yep.
women, the only woman that had the cojones to call in was
Is
Eric.
a successful woman, by the way, client of mine, her
Thank
and
you.
her
Thank
husband.
you, Dean.
Very successful.
Thank
Very and this is the thing. Greg is so blessed to have a good woman like you in his life to help him leave a legacy for his children's children. And it's good that you all have each other to build off of. And that's what it's about. That's what Red Pill is about. Making sure that the question is, what value do you bring to my life? That's what Red Pill asks. When you're with a woman and you're dating a woman or you're courting a woman, you got to say, okay, how do you make my life better? What value do you add? And if you're not able to add any value to his life, then that's it's a non-starter. But the difference is you're older. You're a lot older. You and your husband both are very much like-minded, and it's different for our generation. So we're talking about our generation where women aren't taught how to work with a man. Women nowadays have been taught how to live without a man, or how to compete a man, or how to get all you can from a man, instead of how to live with a man. So that's the big difference. So the generational gap is very different when it comes to when we're talking about modern day women.
Yeah, and I agree. But like I say, self-love is a very important thing. If you don't know how to love yourself, how can you love anybody else?
Mhm.
That's just my view. How can you love anybody else if you don't even love you? So how are you going to turn around and love me? That makes no sense. Now, I'll say my point, because Dean put his point out there. Big Baller McGee put his point out there. This is my point. Everybody can't be the chief. Now, if you want to be, there's legit classes, i.e., Dean, that you can take to take those steps and make those sacrifices to get to that point. But everybody can't be a chief. We need regular people too. And regular people live decent lives. And that's the part that resonates with me
Absolutely.
when it comes to Kevin Samuels, because he even asked, what is wrong with a regular person?
What's wrong with the regular guy? But the problem is that because of a lot of women live, and a lot of modern day women, and because a lot of women are not held accountable for their actions, they think that because Disney story fairy tale has told them, because Oprah Winfrey and because Lizzo and because of all of this foolishness, that they believe that women supposed to have the best. Just because they want it doesn't mean that you're going to get the best. It doesn't mean that you're qualified to have the best. And it's not. And they say that you're talking down on women. You're not talking down. You're just speaking facts. It's just real hard. Like, for instance, the young lady who's afraid to call in because she's like, I don't want to be on camera. Look, Erica called in and she wasn't on camera. See, they're making excuses. They're making their lies. See, they're lies that are designed or disguise themselves as the truth to make them feel okay and comfortable and blue pill, or to stay in the matrix. That's the prime definition of staying in the matrix. So that being said, because women have lied to themselves, and because society has coddled women to think that their negative behavior is okay, that it should just be accepted, that's the reason why it's more difficult for modern women. And that's the reason why, like, I like when Kevin Samuels explains, he talks about it specifically. He says modern women. A lot of women that are younger aren't modern women. You have some that are old fashioned. You have some that are feminine. You have some that are submissive, but then you also have some that are considered modern women. So if you're considered a modern woman with modern views, those are the ones that are having a lot of the issues that we're talking about today. They all want somebody to give them a Birkin bag. They don't even know how to spell Birkin bag. You guys with me? Did I lose y'all?
That was funny. I'm sorry. That was very funny. But I think an issue when it comes to, which this is just my perspective, I think an issue when it comes to women not opting for the regular or average guy, uh I blame social media, but I think just society as a whole has developed this conception that regular people equals being broke.
You said regular people equals what?
That being regular means you're broke, or you bring no value to the table at all if you're regular. And I
Yeah.
think that's the reason a lot of women opt to go for the six figure guy, or the quote unquote high value person.
Yeah, and I think a lot of social. I think something you said is very true. Social media, like modern women, they stay on social media. A modern woman, they live on TikTok, and it's always trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like women dress sexy not for men. You know that they dress sexy for other women. Like a lot of times, women go through all these antics and do all this extra stuff. Women take vacation just so they can show off in front of other women. It's very weird. Femininity is very weird.
That's something I
Especially
tried to get a woman to explain to me, but it just there was really no explaining to it. I guess it's sort of like a nature, like almost like a subconscious level thing for them to have a sense of competitiveness towards one another.
Yeah, but it's so negative. It's negative femininity is what I call it. I call it toxic femininity. A lot of it is very toxic. Like, yeah, you want to compete, but you want to compete for a high value man, not compete to say I'm better. And that's the thing. There's a level of narcissism to say I'm better than you because I have on red bottom shoes. Like I'm better than you because my waist is smaller. Like, or I'm better than you because my weave is longer. Like that has nothing to do. Like all of that is superficial. Like the young lady that called in when she talks about materialistic, that's afraid to talk about, that says materialism is a turnoff.
Hmm.
That type of stuff. Women are the ones that created it. Men, we create what we want to do is we want to have the best comfortable life. You know what I'm saying? Like a man
100%.
doesn't compete with another man. They be like, oh man, his muscles is big, so let me go and get bigger muscles too. Unless you're a bodybuilder, and that's a sport. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's a sport. It's not just because you can walk around like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like men don't see other men like, man, his waist is smaller than mine, so let me put on a waist trainer so that my waist can be smaller. Unless you're competing for the sport. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I think that's why a lot of modern women today, like you mentioned, social media has messed it up because everybody's trying to keep up with the Kardashians and keep up with the Joneses, and a lot of women today want to be a celebrity in their own right, and you know they're not. That's the reality of the situation. Like everybody wants a participation trophy, but you don't get a trophy for participating. You get a trophy for being the best version of yourself. And so a lot of times, instead of trying to actually achieve real goals, they want to achieve things like my fake Louis bag looks better than your fake Gucci bag. So that's how I think. So yeah. Where we at, TB? Uh-oh, sister-in-law. Talk to me, sister-in-law. We can't hear you. I can't hear anything.
Sorry, my apologies.
It's
Listen,
okay. Sister-in-law, he put you on there.
so okay. I wanted to take the time to ask the ladies that are in the chat to come in because the point that I just wanted to make, which is something that is something that we don't see. I'm an analytical person. I look at patterns. I'm mathematical, right? And so the biggest thing is that when there is a time for women to stand up and to give their experience or give their take on it, they don't, right? So we had someone like Spirit Driven. I'm gonna call Spirit Driven out, my sister. She agrees with you, right? She agrees with you, or she agrees with the rhetoric.
Okay.
And so to me, this is just as important for you to come in and to agree because it shows other women, hey, listen, I agree with this brother and I support what he says and stuff like that. It doesn't always have to be something where it's a confrontation. It doesn't have to be something where it has to be a rebuttal or debate. It can be where other people are calling in to be agreeable, and it shows cohesion. It shows, okay, well, we can collectively have a conversation about it and have two vantage points. So I encourage women to call in because my take on the whole thing is women not governing themselves. Men usually tell other men good, bad, and different. Don't do this, don't do that. Hey, men share sex secrets and hey, you want to get a hoe, buy her Tootsie Rolls. You guys have a little innuendo. You guys have that little, it's almost like a je ne sais quoi. Like you guys have a finesse in telling people or telling the same species, the same sex, different things. Women, it's hard for us to do that. It's hard for me to tell my sister. I don't know if you've been looking on the news and stuff, but one person that always comes into mind is Monique. Monique, like, yeah, the comedian. She's been under fire with, you know, just addressing and saying, hey, you know, my sister, don't dress like this or don't do that. And it gets such traction because it's like, wait a minute, you're not on our side. You're not doing this and you're not doing that. And so I just, you know, my biggest thing is with women, because I know women, like I say, men know women from one way. I grew up in the womb and been taught since birth, you know, the this magic and the bad stuff, you know, and you guys only see the surface. We know about it. Most women know about it on a psychological, molecular level, as far as what women are willing to do and what women are willing to hide. So that was some of the things that, you know, like I said, when I see a Kevin Samuels, it's a misfortune because technically he's saying something that your mama should have told you.
Exactly.
He's saying things that your grandmama, to save embarrassment, you know, she don't tell you. You know, there's a lot of things that we don't want to disclose because a lot of women want to appear to be still obtainable through the world in case shit falls out of whack. You know, sorry, my bad. In case things fall out of whack. So they always want to appear to be, you know, hey, I can be obtained. So I just wanted like Spirit Journey, Nadia Price, Highway Journey. These are the older women or the more seasoned women. Because I don't think this is something where it's a marriage thing or a single thing or anything. It's really just a pattern thing. If you know something doesn't work, you change it. You ladies change your weave when it doesn't elicit the response that you want. Change the men, you know, if it doesn't elicit, you know, the statue or the type of a lifestyle that you want, you change it. But when it comes to TV said Jigabon, Jesus Christ. When it comes to that, it's a refrain. So, you know, I mean, I hope she calls in. I really do. I really want Spirit to call in because Spirit driven is a person to me that's woke, right? She's someone that's conscious. But like I said, when it comes to these type of conversations where it doesn't have to be a battle back and forth, it can legit be, we can agree, but we can, you know, we can break the chain, so to speak. So I'm gonna I see all men in here, so that's why I was like.
And also, I do want to say something else, sister-in-law. One thing about me is I'm not going back. I'm not going back and forth. I'm not going to disrespect no woman.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be gnashing at the teeth. You know, I don't do those type of things. We can agree to disagree. Like, I don't know. Like, I've gone back and forth with Cynthia G. I don't know if you guys seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've gone back and forth with Cynthia, and Cynthia and I, we can go to the matter of fact, Cynthia and I need to do another video. I need to tell her.
It was amazing. No, it was.
We need to do another video about her modern, a high value man versus a modern woman or something along the. I think, matter of fact, I need to hit her up. Matter of fact, let me hit her up right now.
I think the one thing I think that if we're coming to things to be solution based or just to talk about it, right? Let's take the stigma of talking about things. The first thing is that anyone can come to the table because people are valid in their own merit. I think usually when we have these conversations, people are going to judge who you are as a person and where they stand at in their lives. So if it's a marriage versus marriage or a single, you know what I mean? People tend not to want to get into those type of debates because the first thing they're going to do is say, well, I'm not in that situation or it's not applicable to me. And then it starts with the selfishness of speaking in that tone. If we were to speak in general, you know, and talk about things where it's like, okay, well, I can understand it from your perspective and vice versa, then yes, we can get a lot further. But, you know, like I said, most of the times we have a labeling thing. People have a misrepresentation of words. People call people words, you know, that doesn't apply and they just think it's cool. So there's a lot of things, like I said, spirit driven. Again, typing and not put the link up. Let's put this link up for, is it?
Oh, they got it there.
Okay. Monique told the truth as well. So, I mean, that's all my thing. I'm going to let, who came in here? Oh,
wait. Before you do that, I got a question for you.
Oh,
how did you learn to be such a good submissive? cooperative, agreeable woman. Now, I know that you were married before to a jerk, and life teaches you.
Yes.
But you have to be humble enough to learn.
Yes.
A lot of times, like you said, that we have to learn, you have to change the pattern. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. And the reality is a lot of us is crazy. I would have cussed, but we're crazy. And so because a lot of us are crazy, we are still doing the same things, expecting different results. So what is it from you? Like, what was your upbringing like? Was it for you that made you want, because TB is an alpha male. Like, I don't know why TB said in that video that he wasn't a high value man, because he's everything that a high value man is. All those things on the list he has. I think in his video he said that he put up the number 300,000, but no, the reality, but it's only 100,000 or better. But TB is a high value man. Yeah. So what is it? So, this is good. How did you get your high value man? How did you get your high value man? Talk about a sister-in-law.
Okay. Okay, let's start off with, you're right, TB does things salaciously, so he knows how to work the system. Let's just start off with that. TB on camera is not Sean Brown in person. So he always shows up to work, if that makes sense. As far as what I've been through, what I've learned was that the best way to describe it was definitely an experience. I took from it. I understood where my part laid. That was because that's the only person I have control over is me. What was my participation? What did I do to contribute to the insanity? And then what do I want to yield as far as different results? The men that have been in my life that I've had substantial relationships with, they all were technically alpha men. Even the jerk I was married to, he was an alpha male. He took care of his business. He had children. He took care of his responsibilities in that way. The issue was, I will agree with Erica as far as leading. Now, I don't identify as an alpha male. Alpha female or anything like that. I identify as a woman.
Come on now.
Woman. All that alpha, I don't need all that. I don't identify as a boss chick. I identify as a leader. I lead as far as by example. So those terminologies and things I don't abide by. Those are spells. That's how I look at it. I look at it. Those are chains that's going to keep you down because your mindset should be more elevated. Those are kid words to me. I don't dabble in that. As far as me obtaining TB, that took, to be honest with you, me listening and respecting what he says. When you go through relationships and stuff, a lot of things we do are it's too much pressure in the beginning. So when I started talking to TB and stuff like that, I was a friend. When feelings develop, they develop, and I respected that, and then it evolved. Just like commencement in school. I tell people all the time, a toddler doesn't quit after 50 times of falling on their behind. They keep going, but they evolve. They understand and learn how to put one foot forward and things of that nature. When we hit a certain age, we believe we made it. Once you start smelling yourself as an adult, that's it. It's almost as if your psyche and your spirituality stunts. It's become stagnant. But that's something I did. Like I said, when I met TB's been through the same thing, being married and going through nonsense and stuff like that. But his characterization, who he was as a person morally, was what I was interested in. And those were the things that align with me. So I don't look for, like I said, the high value man. Oh my God, move.
I made you
Randy, and plus he's my best friend. That's something where again, there's a lot of things to me, us as a people, we take too seriously. Life is too short. Be extra. You only go around this thing once, but at the same time, definitely be appreciative of where you are. Definitely cut the fat where it needs to be. So those are one of the things. Another thing I could probably tell a woman: stop trying to impress the world.
Yes.
Stop trying to impress the world. Make your world home. Start home. My grandmother was a person that home was if we had to say alpha female-esque or her kingdom, that's where she concentrated on. She knew what was going on. She knew how the money came in. She distributed it correctly. She did what she was supposed to do. Outside of the door, she left that to her husband because he was the protector of the home. So he made sure that that boundary and sanctity was, protected. So like I said, it's a synergy. It's a dance. It grows, it ebbs and flows. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to stay the same. And you have to understand the minute that you become an adult, you are now regressing. You know what I mean? You're starting to age. So you need to be developing. You need to be evolving. The stuff that you found attractive, in your teens will not be the same in your 30s, So like I said, there's a lot of things. And the thing about women, it is very hard. I try to say this to men. You guys have no idea how hard it is for us women to talk to each other. What do you think men telling us what's wrong with us is going to be any better? It's a hard pill to swallow. So I get it. I do understand why men are the way they are because they just tired. It's just a tired thing. It's
and this is the thing too that I will say. So that's one thing. I mean, that you mentioned is very, very key. Women don't like to be told the truth, but men, we've been told the truth our whole lives.
Yeah.
Especially African American men. And I don't want to make this about race because it's not about race. It's about gender. It's about gender and gender roles. But men have always been told you got to man up.
Yeah.
You're 2 years old telling somebody you got to man up. He done cried. He fell, bust his knee, trying to play with the truck. So you got to say, you got to be a man up. But there's nobody that's telling you got to be a woman. Sometimes they are. Like one of the things I love so much about my aunt is that she used to always tell us, and even the girl, she says, respect yourself, cross your legs, respect yourself. You need to, you have on a skirt, sit down, or respect yourself. You're not a little boy, sit down over and come in here, learn how to do this, learn how to do that. And so it takes a strong woman to teach a woman how to be a woman. But men, we got men telling us how to be men. We got women trying to tell men how to be men, and they don't know what it means to be a man. They wouldn't know a good man if they tripped over them. Yeah. That's why they can't keep no man and no good man in their life. They keep running them off. And then it's unfortunately, it's a lot of women that are like the blind leading the blind. And so that's the reason why you have people like Kevin Samuels, and you have people like Steve Harvey, and you have these other individuals that are very dominant men speaking, and they're becoming viral because there hasn't been a lot of men to speak truth to power in their lives. That's the reason why churches are 70 to 80% women and it's a man pastor, is because they like to hear and speak a man talk to them, but unfortunately they haven't had one in their household to do so.
I mean, I will agree with that wholeheartedly. And it's probably because, like I said, we have women that are in power. Let's just say the women that are in the celebrity light, Beyonce, different people. When it comes to certain things that could help women, I don't think they come to the forefront. And if they do, it's in an entertainment way. So if it's like, something where it still degrades the man, we'll take color out of it, degrades the man, get your bag, things like that, continue with the rhetoric. I always feel like they're so quick to jump on that bandwagon and do the whole feminist movement and keep pushing that. As far as when it comes to their personal lives, and we've seen that with like Beyonce, with her different albums and different things like that, we see her being a good one, but for some odd reason, she doesn't show that nearly as often as her being Sasha Fierce and, this and perpetuating that cycle. And that's the thing that bothers me. Like I said, it's nothing wrong with a Kevin Samuels, but when you have someone like Sister Soldier that was doing it, Queen Latifah that was doing it, Queen Mother Shabazz that was doing it, you have different women that did step to the plate and do it, but women didn't want to hear that. It was like women did not want to hear that. And if women cannot hold themselves accountable with just saying, you know what, I did have problems with the communication with my mom. I did have, communication problems with my grandma. Different things like that. We cannot accept anyone telling us anything. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like I said, with women, we can't even joke with each other half the time. If we say something, if you and TB share a joke or something like that, it's whatever. If I say something, I have to be mindful of my tone. I have to be
what? That is so true. Check this out. There's these two at the restaurant this weekend on Saturday. two African American sisters on vacation out here.
Uh-huh.
Legitimate sisters.
Yeah.
I asked them, I said, so how did you end up hearing about it? I said, oh, because, you know, we Googled #1 restaurant, you came up, this, that, and the third. And then I said, okay, so how did you end up knowing about the North Coast of the Dominican Republic? Because I'm in Puerto Plata, which is not as popular as Punta Cana or Santo Domingo. And so then they literally, one girl said, well, I wanted something different. The other girl said, no, you didn't. You wanted Punta Cana. And the girl got she got so angry, her sister, she started rolling her neck and got a whole attitude. And I watched her whole demeanor change just because she disagreed with her sister about how they end up finding the North Coast and finding the resort that they were at. And they literally was about to ruin the whole evening. We laughing, having a good time. They flirting with me. They getting hookah, you know, we having a really good time. And the whole mood got changed because they didn't know how to agree to disagree to where it had to be a situation where you're right and wrong. I don't understand why are women like that? Why it has to be all or nothing, or why does it have to be my way or the highway? What is it that about femininity is that? Why is it like that?
I mean, I would, if I had to say, I've dealt with that with my own family, with women in my family, and with people, you know, in passing or friends and stuff like that. To be honest with you, I still don't know. I don't know where a person has to go, or where a woman has to go in her heart, right, to accept. Like, I accept things from women as far as critique. You know, I have women say things to me that, to me, I don't think it was wrong for them to say. You know, like, I don't, you know, disagree or agree or whatever. But there is something where it becomes like an irritant almost. It's like when you see two women that appear to be fine and then it just goes left. To me, I'm like, where was the irritant? Like, you know, I don't even catch it. But that's because, again, I don't dabble in things that are irritable for me, if that makes sense. So my conversation with people is relatively light, even with family. I don't need to go into your past. I don't want to talk about nothing traumatizing because I'm not a psychiatrist. You know, I'm not that type of friend. You don't, if it's a discomfort for you, it's a discomfort for me. So I would rather be in a happy state, rose-colored lens wearing state with women, you know what I mean? Because women deal with pain internally. So I try my best to always say, you know what? We ain't got to be hard on ourselves. You know what? Just come with me to brunch. We going to talk about Jimmy Choo shoes. You know what I'm saying? And how we can save the honeybees. And we ain't got to talk about if that man cheating on you or whatever. Or we don't, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just a break. Women need to take a break. It's always this fight. And me as a Black woman, particularly, I don't do the Black woman fight no more. I'm a woman. I am of God. Like, it's like, it's no need to fight about this. This is what this is. And I hold my head in that regard. As far as the interaction with other women, we're trying our best. There are women that are trying to, I guess, put that energy out into the world and not be so abrasive to other women, and not be, because like I said, we are tattered down as well. Women are battered. Let's not make that mistake. But women are also not going to admit that when the going gets tough and they're back against the wall, they're swift, they're tactful, they'll think, they'll get out of something, they'll figure it out. Like, you know, they don't give themselves the credit of being just as mischievous, being just as on the toe, being just as malicious as men are. You know.
Well, listen. So the statistics shows that 70% of marriages that end in divorce is because the woman is the one that ended the marriage. Women are homewreckers.
Yes.
Of their own marriages. It's not because the man didn't want it or the man didn't want to try. It's because somewhere deep down, that woman decided that she wanted to get something better, or she wanted something different, or women cheat more than men do. That's what this whole mindset of, oh, this is my work husband. You think a man said, I'm your work husband? Man ain't never said nobody say work husband. Or you know what I'm saying? So it's like the idea of emotional adultery then become physical adultery. Women cheat more than men do. Women ruin houses more than men do. A man will get with his wife or get with his significant his woman and try to make things work and deal with some level of unhappiness and go through seasons and try to get things together. Women, the minute you make them unhappy, they think they're gonna go and get something else, think the grass is greener. But the grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. And unfortunately, a lot of modern women don't want to water the grass. A lot of times they think that they can do better because I don't know who put that lie out there. And that's the reason why it's good that Kevin explains to women that you're average at best. You're not exceptional. And it's okay with being average. I'm a high value man, but I think that I'm average. I'm an average guy. Like people tell me, oh, you celebrities. No, I'm just a regular old average guy in my heart and mind. I don't think that I am suchy much, but people think that about myself because they look at certain things and they're like, oh, he think he's all that, or they think I'm arrogant or whatever. Like, but that has nothing to do with what I think of myself. Like, I'm a regular old guy. Like all of my people that like you, like when you and I talk and we're not on stream, I'm just a regular dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a regular dude. I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
Here's a thing. Here's a thought, right? Women know that we don't have as messed up of the short end of the stick as men. So that's our vantage point. If a woman was held to the same degree of making a choice of being with a guy and have to do, let's just say 20 years, as a man is held to such degree with having a child with a woman, the tables would be turned.
Absolutely.
So that's a big thing. Our women take advantage accordingly. Men take advantage accordingly. Where we take advantages at is for our own selfish demise, but that's what the basis will have to be. You have to understand anything you do has a consequence. You can't duck the consequence.
You can't
so
duck the consequence.
If you marry a guy, and I'm a person, I completely understand. I married someone. I was with them for a totality of 10 years. I was married to them for 4, didn't make it to my 5th. The consequences, what I've been through with the public humiliation, what I've been through with the strain on my family and his, with the severed relationship with his stepdaughters, who I grew to love for 4 years. There's a lot of, think trauma, just money ruin, just, breaking of assets, breaking of just everything, the continuity of being with someone for that length of time. That is my consequence. Mm-hmm. Right. And he's had his. Now, flip side, if women, like I said, had the same consequences as men would have, meaning now if I had someone taking my money every week, you know what I'm saying? If I lost everything I ever worked for and, this and third, and I'm labeled as a deadbeat wife or whatever the case may be, then I might have been a little conscientious. You know what I'm saying? So women, I wish that women could be a little bit more understanding and saying, listen, you know what? I did make this decision. There will be consequences, but I will, take them in, and I won't be as quick to point fingers or to not look inward, because that's all we have to do. If you look inward and say, okay, well, I did A, B, C, D, F, G. Like I said, my red flags were apparent before I walked down the aisle. So all that karma came back to me. And
so you saw the red flags. You did.
Yeah. I saw the red flags before I walked down the aisle. But because I had women in my life that saying, well, you're not getting any younger. You're dark skinned. He likes you gotta, you're gonna have pretty babies. I had horrible people in my life telling me horrible things. And I didn't bet on me. I didn't make sure I was good. And so I went against my actual spirituality in this and went against my homeostasis just flaring up to just do something for the world to value me. And that's where I messed up at. And if women could be honest, like I said, if someone was to come up to me now and say, how do you feel about marriage? I do not believe the system is designed for anyone to get married if you're doing it for love. If you're doing it for love, don't do it. You're going to screw yourself every time. But if you're doing it where you have the understanding or it's arranged in a way for you guys to be fruitful and multiply and you get along with this person at the basis, hey, man, if that's what you want to do, there are other contingencies. You can do a domestic partnership. You could do a living will and testament where you leave your estate to that person. There's other ways around than the whole marriage thing, which happens to be a pageantry for how TB would say coonism. You don't have to do that. But like I said, you know, at the end of the day, we can't have these conversations because most people don't want to look stupid. Most people don't want to, you know, look like, well, I'm not representing the woman and I gotta be there for the late. I mean, push all that aside. If you can help one person make a sound decision and say, you know what? Okay, I identify with her, or I identify with Dean, and I'm not going to make that choice, then it is worth it. But like I said, we do everything for show. We do everything to be agreed upon and stuff. I'm probably one of the most hated people, but you know, I still walk my black behind through here and say what I got to say because I feel like there may be 10 women out there that say, you know what, I went through a horrible divorce and I shouldn't feel like a piece of crap because he was bad. And saying, well, what, if that dude was cheating on you and stuff like that, and you didn't honestly know, absolutely, he is a behind hole. You and you should be able to leave and not have the scarlet letter on your back. But if you knew, if you knew, same with the men, if you knew she wasn't nothing, if that's you knew he wasn't nothing, all that's that, and you should wear that badge of honor just as bad. Yeah, I was wrong. I messed up, and you know, this is what you shouldn't do. So it's definitely a two-way street on that.
Yeah, when somebody shows you who they are, you believe them. You don't try to change them, you believe them.
Yes.
And that's just who they are. Is their mind. If somebody makes a sound decision, you make a sound decision in your own heart and mind. This is what you decide to do, and this is how you decide to treat me. Then you believe them. You got to figure out if you're going to accept that or not. And the problem is that people accept it for too long. Like, I think if a woman sees a man cheats and she is not okay with that, she don't know how to share her man, then she need to get up and go. Don't waste any more time, because your value to the next man, it decreases with the amount of time with the amount of baggage you have with your previous man. Like, I think one of the biggest things that is the fact that it's a blessing that you didn't have any kids with that jerk. That's such a blessing.
That's another thing, and this is something that's very important to me. The whole just because having a child in today's society, to my understanding, is a validity to your womanhood. You not trip me up with that, because how I was raised, it was like, no, you don't just give your womb to anybody. Married or not, you know, I had to make sure there were, you know, contingencies in place, and they were not there. Now that was no bad on him. You know what I mean? He had to get to where he was, and I accepted him for who he was. And if he had to grow and continue to grow, that's fine. That's no problem. But no, we are not ready to bring a child, because the minute the child comes in, it ain't about me and you no more.
Absolutely. It's now about the family and about the child.
So we now have to evolve, right? We have to commit to the next stage in our life. And that's what it was. So it was, like I said, and people found it offensive. Plus, he already had 2 kids. So it was like, you don't need no more kids, bro. Like, I was just like trying to make it where it was like, listen, this is not about me. This is about the situation currently right now. You don't need to add no more stress to our lives. We can love these 2, and if God allows, another one will come. But for now, we can take the necessary precautions and not add stress to our lives. And I'm glad that I stuck to my guns on that, because like I said, I could have been a statistic, or I could have had huge changes, because now I'm in the thick of it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just like the rest of them. So now I know what these other women are talking about. No, I love me too much. I love me too much to do that, because I know, you know, if I was to produce a child, I know I'm crazy. So it's like my baby's going to have the best of the best. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, I can't stress to you how much I can prepare for something like that. And I think we don't prepare for things like that. Hell, people don't even test each other blood and genetic history to make sure that they can have a baby properly with people. Like, that's how serious I take it. Like, I want to know what your family history is. If you have, you know, diabetes running through the family.
Listen, let me tell you something. I was dating a chick, and her father was bipolar. And he had this condition on his hands that it was like real scaly, and he had like a real what was it called? Like real coarse skin on his hands. It was just like some type
Well, like
of thing.
eczema?
Like eczema. Just say like eczema. Like eczema. Let's just say it's like psoriasis or something, right? And so, but he also had bipolarism really, really bad. And I started dating this chick, and she was like, "Oh, I got this thing from my dad, and it's this psoriasis thing." But also, after being with her, I found out she was bipolar, and I said, "Mama, I do not want to have a baby with this girl because I think that she bipolar, and I think I don't want something to get passed on to my future kids."
Yeah.
I broke up with the girl, not just because of that, but I broke up with her because, but that was one of the things that was in the back of my mind, and I did not know how to say, and I did not know how to go about seeing, but I mean, that relationship moved too quickly in the first place because we ended up staying together. She was absolutely drop dead gorgeous on the outside, but on the inside, she was a train wreck. But I thank God that the relationship ended the way that it did, because that was something that I was really concerned about, was about the DNA. I was concerned about the way it goes down to her family line. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that's real. Like, I beat cancer. I thank God that I beat cancer, but my father had cancer too. So that means that my children, I pray to God that they're going to beat that generational curse, but they're going to have to make sure that they eat healthy and that they live a good lifestyle so that they don't have that as well. And that's something that's real. That's a disposition that we have to talk about. You know, my father.
I mean, having standards is something that we should have. I mean, we should have legitimate standards outside of materialistic standards. Women get pregnant by dudes because they have money.
Yeah.
As money can't come and go, as if
Absolutely,
money is taken like that, you know. So yes, I think
a lot of times
standards.
They reproduce for some of the craziest reasons, not because they want to start a family. A lot of times it's because it just nowadays, I say with the modern women, nowadays it's because they're lonely, or they want, or because it's fashionable. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's that stupid, like the Kylie Jenner chick? What's not the Kylie Jenner? What's the girl named Kylie? She had a baby by Ace Hood because it was fashionable. Like, why on earth are you going to be the first woman in your whole generation to be a baby mama because it's fashionable to be a baby mama? She didn't want no family with that dude. That was Ace Hood. What's his name? What's his name?
I know he has locks, or
yeah, he is sicko mode. He got, hold on,
Travis
Scott. She had a relation. She had a baby with Travis Scott because she wanted to be a baby mama, because she wanted to be.
Can I be honest? That's her mama. Her mama. I'm pretty sure her mama sat her down, because see, her mama know the game. Her mama.
It's trendy right now. You can do it.
You gotta think about the optics, right?
Yeah.
Speaking, her mother is awesome at taking care of her kids, making sure they get a bag, all that. But then we look on the flip side. She stayed with an alpha dude. She stayed with a man that got money. She ain't too off the reservation of getting no high value man, because even the dude that she's with, he has money in his own right. But I think like I said, when you take that hand off of kids now, which is a thing, letting kids just do whatever they want and just sporadically come in their lives to tell them something and not continue with that continuity, that's a problem. Like I said, someone like that Kylie girl, she's 10, 12 years from Kim Kardashian. You can even see in how they operate, Kim Kardashian, her older sister, how they operate differently, how they move differently. And that goes to show, like, you know, like I said, it's just one of those things where, as a collective, as a community, as the world, as the society standard needs to change, because it could be, I don't know if you ever heard the thing with the two men that grew up with an alcoholic father. They have two.
Yeah, one became an alcoholic and the other never took a drink in his life.
Yeah, so it's really perspective, and it could be just close. And that's how I grew up in my household. I had so many different facets of women examples I can learn from. And I chose the one that I gravitated towards. I could have gravitated towards the negative. I could have gravitated towards the positive. I just took all experiences and made sure that when I was going through life, I know how to handle this. I know how to handle that. I didn't let it become me. I just took them as like little arsenal, like little weapons, and just said, all right, if this experience come up, boom, I'm gonna shoot that down, or boom, I'm gonna shoot that down, because I just didn't want to be a statistic. I just hate the way Black women are treated. I hate how we're viewed. I hate how were displayed. And I said, I just don't want to be a part of that. And that's how I made it to my age of being, to me, unscathed, untraumatized, even though I've been through ups and downs. They do not conform me. They do not shape me. And I grow as God is intended for me to be. But I'm going to let
Law. I would like to hear Law's perspective. Has Law's been married for 7 years? No, you've been with your woman for 7 years, Law. Y'all been
Phil. That was Phil. He's been with his girl 7 years. I've been with my girl for going on 6.
6, okay. So
Yeah,
so speak on it. Speak on it, Law.
So
Speak
what I
to
want to
the
do.
topic.
I just came in and stirred the pot because I'm having a real issue with the fact that we only have the same people that's chiming in on the female side of things. Like, we do this for you too, ladies. All right, we want to hear from you. Your voice matters, but your voice is not going to matter if you don't voice your opinions. If you don't step up to the plate, your voice is not going to matter. So I'm gonna stir the pot real quick. I'm just coming in here to get messy, and then I want Dean to, it's his show. So I just want to stir up a couple things that the females have been saying in the chats. Okay, I'm gonna start my way down and then work my way up, not from where I think you are as a stature or a status, but from what I think is more significant on the chat.
I got you.
All right, Highway Journey, female, we respect and always love to hear from, says that she needed to get caught up first to call in. All right, sweetheart, you've been here for a minute. I think you caught up. Call in. If you let us know how you feel. If you agree with Dean, call in. If you don't agree with Dean, call in. Okay, and that's all I got to say to her. Royal Ori, you say we don't give women enough credit. How, love? How do we not give women enough credit?
The problem is we give women too much credit. That's the problem.
And
We've given women too much credit to make them feel like they do those things. Make them feel like their life is non-consequential. We give women too much credit as a problem, and that's the reason why the Red Pill Society exists, because we're not giving out participation trophies for women. Like, there is a slogan in the Red Pill community: "Make women great again." Like, the modern woman today is horrible for the family dynamic. It's horrible for the family dynamic.
Most of the time,
and that's the reason.
Most of the time, it's a fact, because y'all both can't wear the pants. Somebody got to mind them kids.
Absolutely.
Keep an eye on the children, and somebody has to wear the pants and be more responsible for the financial thing so that everything flows a lot. Now, I'm not saying the man can't do that, but as a woman, if you're going to wear the pants, then you got to take what wearing the pants comes with. Like, as a society and as a club, being in the men's club, we're brutal to each other. If you're not ready for that, then that's something that you just need to just step aside. Okay, you just need to let a man handle it if you can, because when you're a man, other men don't care how you feel when they say what they got to say. Okay, we say stuff to each other that we don't say to women most of the time. We call each other names and we shrug it off, and we joke about each other's manhood so much to test one another, because that's how you weed out the weak most of the time. And sometimes you can't handle being weeded out. You can't handle that. I ain't saying all women, because I also left in the chat that there is such thing as an alpha woman. And coming from the military, I have witnessed plenty of alpha women that lead way better than me. Way more what's the word that I'm looking for? That thing that Malcolm X had, Martin Luther King had, that even David Duke, if you want to put it out there, I mean, he led men not for for a good cause. I definitely disagree with everything David Duke had to say, but he is an alpha that led men and was able to speak, and people, congregated around him. He was transcendent, should I say. Now, what his message was sucked, but the fact that women could be transcendent, like Angela Davis, like Queen Mother Shabazz, like sometimes Betty King. There's plenty of women out there that you can speak towards. That said, Michelle Obama's well versed, very educated, speaks a lot of good facts. But all women, y'all not built the same. We not just like men. We hold each other to a certain standard. But let me get back, because I don't want to preach. I just want to get into these comments. I'm trying to rile up.
Well, I had a question, Law.
Yeah, go ahead.
So here's a question. This is something I've been pondering on. So when we speak of alpha male and alpha female, and we're talking specifically in relationship, of course, a woman could be an alpha. She could be a boss in a corporate setting or her business or whatever. Push that aside. We got that. In a household where Dean was speaking of two heads, right, becoming this monster, and you know how that would equate to like the optics. That's what I always say. I always say optics and how it looks to society. Why is that we will have it where not only other races of women can submit, but also gay, lesbian, where there is a obvious head and an obvious submissive person? Why is it that when it's specifically with, like I said, with Black people, because even I've seen, let's just say gay, lesbian, Black women, there's like the butch and there's the feminine. So when it comes to heterosexual, why is there always a need, or should I say the representation of it being an alpha male and an alpha female? Go.
Because I think that people misconstrue the actual definition of being an alpha. The alpha is just the leader of the pack, which designates from a wolf standpoint, an animal standpoint. The alpha wolf was the leader of the pack. So whether you're a woman and you're leading your family and that's how big your pack is, or you're somebody like Michelle Obama, who's leading a much broader group, a bigger group, should I say, not broader, but a bigger group, she's still an alpha. She still is a leader. So at the end of the day, just being an alpha doesn't mean that you're smart, you're intelligent. There is a such thing as horrible leaders. There is a such thing as horrible alpha.
I think we're talking, let's be specific and talk about the constraints of relationships, because you can run everybody. Like, for instance, you can be the CEO of a multi-million-dollar corporation, but when you come into this house, you can run everybody but me. I have no problem with women with strong personalities, and a red pill man or alpha male has no problem with a woman who can delegate well and is good at her job. We're not talking about a woman being good at her job. We're talking about the constraints of a relationship, because Michelle Obama did not run Barack Obama.
No, not at all.
Barack Obama ran his household. He also ran his family and ran the country extremely well. So we're not talking about a woman doing her job. And that's the thing. The problem is that the modern woman is so focused on doing their job and their what's the word that I'm talking about? It's their the word, it's on the tip of my tongue. I completely forgot. It is their, not just their job, it's called their vocation. They're so focused on their vocation that we're not talking about the family. We're talking about specifically the family structure and dating and relationships. And oh, sorry about that, fellas. My one of my cameras went out. We're talking about the family dynamics, the family structure, specifically on the vocation, not on not when it comes to things that are outside of the family structure. We're not talking about if you can organize a restaurant, or you can organize a call center, you can run a whole floor or a whole wing of a hospital. We're talking about the constraints of a relationship.
Right. And I just want to say that, you know, by just pure definition, alpha means the number one, the leader of the pack. But I want to get into these comments because I want you, Dean, to address these comments that's been popping up. I don't want to, you know, it ain't so much about my perspective.
One second. Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I just wanted to point out to my sister, Spirit Driven. The reason why I put gay relationship is because it's the equivalent of us having the conversation about parents raising their children correctly, and adoptive parents do just as well of a job. So I put these different facets into it because why is it that everyone else in other different eccentric or different type of scenarios are able to produce or able to get things done that the normal, you know, man and woman thing has the most strain on? That's what I put those out there because it can be done. It don't matter if you're gay, don't matter if you're straight, don't matter if you're this, it can be done because we've seen other configurations do it. Same with the women having children. Just because you had a baby don't make you no mother. Because y'all flip it on the men and say just because you can make a baby don't make you no father, or whatever that term is. Just because your daddy ain't your father, whatever, however way y'all say that. So that's what I'm saying. What we do is we double down on things that is irrelevant, and we're not looking at the fact that, oh, there is another way for it to happen, and it can happen within my configuration as well. So that's what I wanted to say to my sister, Spirit Driven. Go ahead, Law. I know you want to dig into these comments.
I do, because listen, we didn't want, this wasn't supposed to be for people like me to call in. I have a penis in between my legs. I want to hear from women. You know what I mean? So I'm going to say these comments that the women been saying and let Dean address them, because I guess they wasn't woman enough to call in, or in this case, should I say man enough to call in? But I digress. Like I said, Ro Ari said not enough communication. She said we don't give women enough credit. And she also said in a black relationship, there's not enough communication. Okay, well, if you feel that way, then I suggest you call in. Also, I'm just gonna run them down, and then you could pick off what you want to pick off. I just want to get through them though. Nadia Price also says she says that material things. Basically, she's trying to say that we want women that want us for our material things, or we spend all this time getting material things and want women to be, you know, drawn to us by those, and then can't handle when a woman only wants us for our money. And before you come in, Dean, I'm gonna get through the rest of them, because I know that's a hot one. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and if you feel that way, Nadia, call in. That's all I'm saying. You also say that you agree with Spirit Driven and a lot of things that she said. And I say the best for last, because Spirit Driven has been very vocal in the comments, but will not call in. So I have to come on here and say these points for her, because she's not man enough to call in. You know what I'm saying? So she's saying that Spirit Driven has also said that we only want women with the biggest booties. She said that. She's also said men should probably take a little more responsibility for leaving the household. And she's also said that she's only able to be submissive to men that only want black women. So if you want a white woman, then you just can't, she's not going to be, you know, and I kind of take, and I say the best for last, because as y'all will know, I got a white woman. So, you know what I'm saying? And I love my white queens, you know what I'm saying? Hey, and all my white queens out there. I love y'all just like I love all my black queens, but I'm gonna let you handle it, Dean. I'm just repeating the comments. That's all, because the women haven't been man enough to call in. So that's all I'm saying. I'm just here to stir the pot. So, if you want to address that, that's, if you want me to repeat it as well, yeah, go ahead, take your time. If you want me to repeat any of those and reference those, by name, because like I said, we got Spirit Driven, one of the wonderful females that's commenting in right now, Nadia Price, another wonderful female that's leaving comments, Royal Ori, and Highway Journey. So if you want to address those, one by one by female, because they're not coming in here and speaking for themselves for whatever reason, we can go with what they said, and then you can address that. That's all.
Okay. All right, that's cool. So let's go with it. All right, I had an issue with had a little technical difficulty with one of my camera. Okay, so let's go one by one. So the first thing was about, let's go one by one. Let's go one with Highway Journey. Let's go one by one.
Okay, all right. It's really one by one. The first one would be Royal Ari. The only thing with Highway Journey is she was saying she ain't caught up, and that's the reason she's not calling in and saying her opinion. So you should be caught up by now on what we're talking about, so you can call in. Royal Ori says that we're not giving women enough credit. You already addressed that. She also said there's not enough communication in the black household, and that's why we're running into a lot of these problems. Do you agree or disagree?
Let's talk about that. So when she says there's not enough communication in the black household, I think some of that has its point, and I think the reason why is because a lot of times women talk to men like they're women, and they don't talk to men like we're men. And so men and women communicate differently. And so if the purpose of communication isn't saying what you want to say, but it's having heard what you want heard. And oftentimes in the community, in relationships, period, you will let stuff get to the point to where it's at a boiling point when you say something. And then when you say something, it's said without tact. And so oftentimes people don't know how to argue, and they don't know how to agree to disagree. And they just say things at a rate to where it's hurtful. And then they also say things to the point where it's you go down rabbit holes. So I think that's the reason why marriage counselors and therapy is very important, and therapists and business coaches and mentors are very important, because what happens is that we help connect the dots for a lot of people because they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to say what they want to say without inflicting riotous, without jabbing a person. They don't. A lot of women, what they'll do is a lot of times they'll say things that are deflammatory to ignite a man, to provoke him to anger. And so that's why sometimes men just zone out and just be like, okay, whatever, and don't listen to what they have to say. Not all the time, but that's what are your thoughts about that, being a married man?
I'm actually not married because I do.
Oh, I apologize. I thought you was married. Because that's why there was just Phil that said he was married. My bad. I apologize.
Yeah, just Phil is married. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all get us confused because we just TB's minions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you crazy.
But yeah, I think that you're correct in most of your assessment. I think that sometimes women do go down that rabbit hole, but I think men has to take some credit for it too. Sometimes you need to learn how to be more submissive. You know what I mean? Not saying that you need to be not in a leader role, because I do believe the man should be the leader in the household, and I think the man should lead. But I do think that there is a fine line in being submissive and dominant. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to be submissive and actually listening, because as a man, you're not always right. And as whatever you're doing as a professional or whatever, you're not always good at that. So sometimes you need a woman or a man or other people to come in and give you insight on what you're doing. So I do agree. Like I say, I agree with the majority of your assessment.
Okay.
TB, you want to add on to that, or we're going to get to the next one?
Relationships would go fine if there was a common agenda of no jigabooing. It's that simple.
Now the gunshots. Okay, now we got it.
Okay, that's how I look at it. Reason why me and my old lady get along well, because my agenda was laid out as flawless as my agenda is. And from jump, no cooning. I am not interested in or wanting to see any cooning whatsoever. Just not interested in it. Now, I have a lot of reasons why what I say is cooning and people don't like them all and all that stuff. And I get it. It's cool. I'm the big bad black guy. But peep game. This is all you got to do. First of all, don't do drugs. Let's get that out the way. Do better. Study. And be genuine. That's all I need you to do. I don't need you to be a certain size. I don't need you to cower under my word. I don't need you to do any of that stuff. Now you're gonna listen to me because as the great Mahat Rick Ross said, Mahat being great soul, I get respect because I give a chick no choice. As simple as you can listen to what I'm saying, but I also leave the option for you to try it another way, and then we can come back and talk about it, and I can break down why this is what I wanted it to be that way. That's simple.
Well, this is something that I wanted to say. The definition of a good leader is knowing the value of the people that he manages and that's under him. I think a fool rejects wise counsel. And if you chose a foolish woman, that's your fault. If you have a woman that has some insight, she has some sense about herself, and she knows how to play her position, and she's wise, then you need to take her advice. Like you said, men are not always right. A good alpha male, a good red pill male knows when to take sound advice and listen to when his woman is telling him something that's right. I think that there's a miscalculated assumption that just because you're red pill and just because you're alpha, that means that men are always right. No. And it's a miscalculated assumption that a red pill man or alpha male does not listen and take the advice of his woman. if he not hired, but if he got with a woman that's a fool, that's his problem. That's his fault. He should not be with her. So of course, a man should know how to communicate and listen to his woman. What was the next one?
Now I want to get into this real quick. I want to go straight into the next thing. And then TB, you're the host of the show. Do you want me to address this really quick, real fast?
Address it without cuss words.
Of course I can. I'm not mad that somebody called me names. I think this is the first time I've been called a clown, a bozo, and all that. They got funny little clips of me being called a bozo, so that's fine. Now I'll address this real quick and then we'll move on because, like I say, Dean is the one. This is his show, so I don't want to take. Now, the comment is, but he got a queen yet ain't married. This ninja, I think he was meaning wild clown. Wild law, I don't know what the stars are. Some cats be a beast with what comes out as game or knowledge. So listen, the reason I'm not married, and I'm just going to address this real quick because it's a simple answer, is because it's not a good business deal for me. Now, if you're not smart enough, if you let love blind you from reading contracts and paperwork and how laws work, then you could be a fool for love if you want to. That's fine. But me and my spouse, we're not dumb. We know the benefits of marriage and we know the consequences of marriage. So right now, with me and my woman, we could have got married 2 or 3 years ago. We love each other enough to get married 2 or 3 years ago, but we've sat down and we've actually read the fine print. So in about maybe like, what we looking at? About 5 years. In 5 years, as a business deal, it makes more sense for me to marry my woman than to marry her now. Now, financially, I'm not privy to give you all the information on why I'm not married and what business I got going on that, keeps me from getting married. But at the end of the day, just know that you're getting married for the only reason you should be getting married is for business. Okay, that's it. It's for the value. If you love each other, just love each other. What the hell does marriage got to do with anything? Why does the government have to tell you who you can love? All it is. Marriage is just.
I'll tell you why. Okay. Jigabooing. That's what it is. Let me tell you why. Because black people fear and love white people. And they think that, oh, well, this is the right thing to do. And what if you die and you can't leave your stuff? People leave inheritance to dogs. If you understand, if you follow Dean's course for him to give you an ironclad situation, you would have trust and lawyers set up and everything. But what you don't do is read what you need to do. How do you leave something to a third removed nephew? He's not married to you. That's exactly. You're turning it into a badge of honor. It's not a badge of honor. Y'all, this is what y'all do. Y'all come out here and y'all say, well, I'm gonna do all the things that make me a good person. So y'all do the Jigaboo kit is what I like to call it. And let me tell y'all the Jigaboo kit. The Jigaboo kit is nice car, clothes, marriage, a kid, and a house. And y'all think if y'all got those 5 things, well, I'm better than Dean. I'm better than Dean. Well, why are you better than Dean? Well, I'm in my community and, I'm married and, I got a house and I'm ahead of it. Man, stop it. You are a sucker. You're a sucker. You're not Dean because Dean doesn't buy a piece of property unless it makes him money. Simple as that. Don't make no money. He not interested in buying it. That's what differs you from people who actually know how the system works and people who assume how the system works because they're regurgitating something they heard from somebody else. Then when Dean rolls by you in the Rolls Royce truck, he did something wrong. Oh, see, this is what I mean right here. He's arrogant. He's not arrogant. He just did his money correctly. You went for all the coon catches. Nice car, which is not helping you tax-wise with your business because you probably don't have one. Nice house, which is not making you any kind of money. A bunch of stuff that come with that. Clothes, and next thing you know, you're ending up with $300 at the end of your $70,000 job, and you're just as broke as the guy that works at Walmart that has $300 at the end of his. It's just plain stupid. Grant Cardone, which I don't agree with everything he says, has a bunch of money, and he doesn't own a personal house. I didn't say he didn't own a house. He doesn't own a personal house. The house where you can go run into him at, he's renting. He's renting it. So he don't see the point of buying this house if it ain't gonna make me no money. Here's another metric real quick. 90% of people don't pay houses off. So if that's the case, 90% of y'all could just rent and not have to fix nothing in the house and just die in peace. But y'all done got me going, so I'm gonna go ahead on back out and be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet because y'all know once I get to preaching, it get weird. One second, have y'all called Trevor in yet?
No, not yet.
Trevor had a question. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something because we're on your platform, TV, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you guys a question. Hold on, because I know somebody had a. I want to bring something up here, but go ahead. Go ahead. What was the next question that you said you wanted to get into, Law? What was that other question that you said?
Okay, so this is one of the good ones that I want to get to. Some of the stuff that Spirit was saying was just too explosive. So I'm gonna go with Nadia's comment. Not so much a question, just a comment that she made, and she said that basically, and I'm paraphrasing, and if I'm saying this wrong, Nadia, all you got to do is call in, and I could get off the screen. TV could kick me out because you're just not woman enough to call in. But she said that we can.
And the internet goes out.
Like I said,
you're breaking up, Law.
Oh,
and I'm paraphrasing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now. Go ahead.
All right. She said we as men want to gain all these material things, okay, and we want women to want us because of that, okay, and we can't handle when a woman try and guess say, oh, why does she only want me for what I have? But we go out and we get all these material things for these women to want us, but we can't handle the truth that women only want us for the material things. So that's her comment.
So Dean, what do you think about that? Women only want you for the material things.
I think that that's not true. I think women want men that are able to provide. A house is a material thing. First of all, there's nothing wrong with a material thing. There's nothing wrong with the materials. It's to love materials. The number one best-selling book of all time said that love of money is the root of all evil. It did not say money was. It said the love of it is. That same book also says that money answers all things. So a woman wants to be with a man to where if she's sick or if she's having a baby or if she is if she's sick or she's having a baby, she wants to know that that baby can be taken care of. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's where these beta men, these underachieving men feel uncomfortable with that. There's nothing wrong with a woman wanting to be with a man that's able to provide comfort for her and her children's children. The same way a man wants to be with a woman that sexually gratifies him and that is physically attracted to him. And that's the reason why women focus their energy and their efforts on being beautiful, being the best version of themselves. And men will do the same thing as making as much money as they can, being the best version of themselves financially. I don't think that it's wrong for a woman to be with a successful man or want to be with a man because of that he provides a certain lifestyle. I never said there's anything wrong with it. My personal opinion is this: even swap ain't swindle and fair exchange ain't robbery. So I take care of you, you take care of me. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Even swap ain't swindle and fair exchange ain't robbery at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I cannot disagree with that. I mean, if it works for y'all, do it. I mean, some dudes like tall, some like midgets. It's what you want. It's all up to you, baby. If that's what you want to do. Now, if you saying you need a woman to pay half, and she agrees to that, who am I to talk crap about your household?
Yeah, I don't see that a real alpha male or real red pill male, they gonna want a woman to pay half. That's just my opinion. I think that a man needs to be a man, be 10 toes down. Before anything, you're a man. I think before you get with a woman, before you get married, before you get a fiance, before you start seriously dating, I personally believe that you need to, let me just take a screenshot of this because I want to share something with y'all. I just personally believe that you, Okay, hold on for a second. I just personally believe that you should be a man and be about your business. That's just what I personally believe. That's what you should do. You should just be a man about yours before you end up talking about trying to
So you
bring
think
another.
dudes that's going half, they're not.
That's
they're
just yeah. Like I don't believe that you should have your stuff together, because before any and everything, you need to be able to provide for yourself and provide for before you talk about trying to bring somebody else or something else into this world.
That booty meat for that check hit. Come on
Yeah.
now. I told
All
my
of course.
cousin, how you have more sex than me and you ain't got no money?
That's
So
what
let me
I'm just saying.
let me ask this question then, okay? If you let a woman lead because she's a better leader, because I can't compare to Michelle Obama when it comes to speaking truth to the people. I'm just not as well versed as her. She is well.
But remember, we're not talking about speaking to. We're talking about household. Like I don't. Let's talk about.
Okay,
I want to specifically talk about in the household, not
let's go with that.
just.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Then. Let me use a different example. Let's go with Oprah. That's a good example.
Okay.
Household, when you want to just talk about household and also being educated and well versed and being an alpha. Do you think that Stedman's less of a man because he lets Oprah lead his house?
If I lived in Oprah's house.
Yeah, he's in Oprah's house. He ain't in his house.
That's
He's
what I'm
staying
saying.
with her.
He's less of a man.
It don't even matter. Listen, if I
He's
lived
staying with her.
if I lived in Oprah's house, Oprah would be wrapped around my finger. Let's get that out the way. Listen, just because she got money and a little bit of status, don't mean she don't want you to run stuff when she gets to the house. Now, she don't have to live there. She can come live with me. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, once Diggy Down Brown come in town, that's a wrap. Like she's just, I gotta go. My man is here. None of that's gonna happen if you know exactly what you're doing with a woman. Oprah likes to be talked to dirty and told what to do, and she likes the presence of a man just like any other freaking woman, unless she's a legit lesbian. We don't know.
But that's not the question here. There's no question in the fact that we know who runs. Like Stedman is the man in the relationship, but Oprah is definitely the alpha in that relationship.
Why
is that questionable?
Well, why do we say that? We don't know what they do in their house, and we don't know if
so you mean to tell me we don't know that by your definition?
We don't know if Oprah puts on a maid outfit when she gets home. We don't know that Oprah.
Splitting the bills half we were talking about splitting bills down to half. Oprah's probably doing more than half. She probably doing.
Well, first of all, let's do this. Wait. Let's do this. Wait. Let's not talk about exceptions to the rule. Let's not talk about a billionaire.
So she's an exception, right? And she's an exception. Is that what we say?
Yeah, she's an exception to the rule. I think it's a futile argument to talk about things that aren't common. Like, 1 in a million. Let's not talk about 1 in a billion situation. Let's talk about a regular situation. So if you ask me personally, I think that Stedman, he just wants to be a beta male, and he wants to have a woman to take care of him. That's my personal belief. I don't believe that the regular guy. We're not talking about a situation where I don't want to talk about a situation where a woman can afford to put a man up and he never has to work another day of his life.
Yeah, but hold on. The reason why I think this argument is crazy is because they have no bills. Like the everything's,
I think that's
billionaires.
So I say that to say this. Let's pivot. Let's pivot on the opposite side of the spectrum. Same situation. Regular people. Let's talk about regular people. Wife is let me pick a good profession. Doctor. Husband is a business owner at a restaurant. Not a good restaurant though. Business sucks. You know what I mean? He's happy though, and he's able to provide enough to where he's rearing the children properly. You know, when you own a restaurant, you're able to bring the kids into your restaurant. They can sit at a table, do their homework or whatever. It works for them. She brings in most of the money though. He's doing what he has to do. If they separated, he can take care of himself and pay his child support and hold his own financially with the kids if they separated. But they are together, and she is a well-versed doctor, and she is 80% of the income.
So how does that make her an alpha?
Does that say that again? What's the question?
How does that make her an alpha?
Because he's not paying half of the bills.
Well, the paying of the bills is not the only thing.
I'm not saying this ain't the question about alpha. We talking about believing that a woman shouldn't pay half of the bills. Okay, so
let me rephrase that again. I want to make sure
let's break it down
that you understood. So I said, I believe an alpha male. I believe a male. This is not about the woman. This is about the man. That the alpha male or red pill man is an alpha or red pill if he needs to go 50-50 with his woman. I think that a man should be a man and he should live in his own home, takes care of his own household. And I think that if you are lucky enough or wise enough to choose a woman that has resources, then her funds, if she's bringing in funds through a business or through working, should be used to grow and invest and to take care of other things, not that you need her to go have. Now, granted, if something happens and she can, let's be specific, besides need versus can. If she can go have, if you run into a situation where you get hurt or you run into a situation where you fall on hard times and she can step up versus needing her to. I think when a man is splitting 50-50 with a woman, I think that is a roommate situation, and 9 times out of 10, she's sleeping with somebody that makes her feel like a woman other than you. That's just what I believe. I believe that she has somebody on the side that makes her feel like the woman that she wants to be and submit to the woman she wants to be, and to where she can feel like she's the woman. That's what I personally believe.
So let me ask you this then. That's what we got lost in translation. The question that I proposed was, whether you're alpha male or beta male, does that make you less of a man?
Yes.
If you're not an alpha male,
a beta male, that's what the definition of a beta. That's kind of what a beta.
No, not really. Because the alpha male is just the person that leads the pack. Okay, so that makes him the person that's in charge of saying how the pack is going to move.
And by definition, he is more valuable to the pack because he leads it.
He is, but there are such things as horrible alphas and horrible leaders.
That's irrelevant.
No alpha is good without a good pack, without somebody helping them.
Dude, that is also irrelevant. The reason why they name it two different things because they are two different levels.
So let me ask you another question then, because this is the thing that always comes up where I think as men, sometimes we do get caught up in this alpha mentality because everybody ain't meant to be alphas. And that's the first thing. Like, it's no problem if you want to be an alpha. I also think there's no problem if you want to be a beta. That's just my personal opinion. Now, some people may disagree and you find to disagree or whatever. Don't mean you can whoop my ass when you see me. So at the end of the day, whatever. We just got
why you gotta start cussing and adding whooping somebody's butt into it?
I'm sorry, ass is.
We trying to keep it clean.
I don't know if that's gonna mess up the algorithm or whatever, but that doesn't mean
you're a creator. You know it is. Come on, man.
I don't know if that one is, but I digress. You're right. Excuse me. That doesn't mean you could beat me in a fight or do other things better than me just because you lead a pack.
Okay.
You don't just because you go half. I mean, just because you pay all of your woman's bills does not make you a better man. Because just because you pay bills and there's so many things that goes into being in a successful.
That's the thing. It's about being a man. You're so independent. So this is how I was raised. You are a man because you're able to take care of yourself and provide for yourself, independent of a woman. You need to be a man to have your own apartment, whether you have a studio apartment or not. If you can be in your truck, you sleeping at the shipper, you riding heavy going from coast to coast. You're able to take care of your own ability. You're able to take care of your own finances, and you don't need a woman to do that. That's what it means to be a man. It has nothing to do with taking care of a woman or finance. It's just about being a man. You're a man first before anything. When you're 18 years old, you need to be figuring out what you need to do to take care of your own responsibilities and never have to depend on anybody. Male, female, boy, child, it don't matter. If you're black, white, yellow, Puerto Rican, or Haitian, you as a man, 10 toes down, need to be ready to take care of yourself. And if you're depending on somebody else, that makes you less of a man.
Hold on. This is my problem with I hate to say it. I really do. I hate to say it. Negroes. This is my cardinal issue. It is more valuable. It is what they're going for. You understand? You saying, "Oh, I don't think that makes you a man." Listen, brute strength means absolutely nothing. It means nothing.
It doesn't. You're absolutely right.
Listen, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not finished. That's what I'm saying. The dudes who run the world cannot lift a dumbbell. That brute strength stuff, you leave that back in the 2000s, back in the 1800s. That means nothing right now. So you being able to beat someone up means nothing. Number two, if your woman who does college more than the average blue collar man does, eventually they will make more money. Has nothing to do with your lifestyle. My woman has skills to double my income. Double it. That don't mean she get to buy a bigger house. She lives under what I can provide. Now, the smart thing would be to do is to use her money for vacations or retirement extras or something like that. But you're going to live in my house. That's rule number one. When you live in a woman's house, it changes. She may not admit it to you, but it changes the dynamic of your relationship.
Absolutely.
It because if she found someone else that could house her completely, you're out of here.
Absolutely.
Out of here, dude.
Absolutely. Or like I said, she is being with the man on the side that makes her feel like a woman, like a virgin for the very first time.
And when y'all break up and she's living with this dude, she gonna say, "It's just so good to be with a real man."
A real, yeah. I mean, that's just being a man. That has nothing to do with. Really? Just like I said, before anything, you're a man. Before you're a husband, you're a man. Like you're a man before anything. You are a man. That's just being a capital MAN.
I'm definitely on the opposite spectrum of this conversation.
Listen. I know.
I don't think that. I don't.
I understand that. I know you, and you can be, and everybody can have their own opinion.
And it's okay. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, that's just what I believe. We can, but the problem is when women go out there and they place a value on it, they do never say, "I want a beta man."
So let me ask you.
Hold on. That is not what they're saying they want. So the only purpose on earth for a human or a two-cell organism is to procreate. So if the job was to procreate with as many people as possible, you would have the best thing you could possibly do is be an alpha male with a bunch of resources. That is the best thing you can do to achieve that. Now, women can say, it doesn't really matter to me. They're lying. They're freaking lying.
Let's do a temperature check. Women that are watching.
Do you want a beta or an alpha?
That are watching.
Yeah. And if you say alpha, are you with somebody or are you single?
Well, no, because we talk about preference.
That's my request.
We're talking about preference. We can't do that. Well, if you're not with the person, no, we're talking about preference, what they desire.
That's true. They could prefer a rich man too, but have you ever had one? You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
That goes against that's disingenuous.
It's not though. You could preference anything. You could say you want a woman with a big behind. You could say you want a woman with big bosoms, but have you ever had one? Have you ever been able to obtain one? To know that.
Well, no, we're talking about the desire. We're saying the desire of it. We're saying that
what I'm talking about. Yeah,
we're saying what they do. We're saying what
You're talking desire. About what they can achieve and get. We're talking about.
So let's be a lot more specific. Let
me be specific with my question and the reason why I'm saying that, because women can prefer something and say they want something, but until they had it, they don't know if they truly want it. You could say you want an alpha male, and then you bring him in your household, and he controls everything about you, and then you like, I didn't sign up for this. So that's what I'm saying. Listen. Okay. You can want a preference. But then you get that preference. It's like I could want a Tesla. And then when that thing self-drives me off the expressway, did I really want that Tesla? No. I can't disagree with that. It's the same thing with dudes who want a chick with a huge butt, but no one talks about that it smells. So they can't wash it correctly. I get that point, but that does not stop the value of the butt in the market right now. You're right. You're absolutely right. That's all I'm saying. Hold on 1 second. Trevor has something to say. Go ahead, Trevor.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing all right.
A lot of people have misconceptions of what the alpha really does in the pack setting. The alpha does not lead the pack. That is a real strong misconception. the people that lead the pack are the old wolves and the frail wolves. The alpha's always the last wolf. So
So meaning
that,
what?
that instead of looking towards, I'm the alpha male, look towards your elders and follow where they're going and quit being so stubborn. And then the only benefits, the only wolves in the pack that recreate are the alphas.
Right,
So,
which is the only purpose for being on the planet according to scientific research. It's to reproduce. So
Yeah.
by definition, they are more valuable than everybody else. They're the only one who gets to pass their line down.
correct, because they breed stronger stock. So you're right there, but the alpha doesn't make the decisions on where the pack goes. And then a lot of people bring that into their family. And that's where the whole toxic masculinity comes into play.
Well, I'm in the black diaspora here, Phil, and there isn't enough masculinity. So I'm personally am not someone who's going to roll with the toxic masculinity thing. If anything, people are dropping videos about the feminization of black men. So for our particular sector, I don't really roll with the toxic masculinity. Maybe in y'all's, I can't really speak to that. But what I will speak to is no man in here is teaching their son to be a beta male. They're just not.
Hold on for a second. Wait, hold on, Richard. Who is it? Since Richardson Carrier is a fool, he said, "But what about the Sigmas?"
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
That's a Greek.
Yeah,
That's a Greek. That's a Greek joke. Sig, you a fool for that.
Or the old
Richardson's Carrier says, "But what about Sigmas?" I'm looking for the women's comments.
So listen, I do believe that whatever your role is in a relationship or your pack or whatever you want to say, whatever the case may be, I think that people tie a lot of that. They put too much into that and not more into being happy. I think people concentrate a lot on being alphas or betas or whatever, and and not so much into being happy. And at the end of the day, Dean Cole has his beliefs on what he believes in, and the people that believe that are going to follow more so what he says, or not so much follow, but kind of agree with him. Whereas I'm a little bit on the opposite side of that. I don't think about things in alpha or beta or a woman paying 50% or 20% or whatever the case may be. I don't care. It all works itself out. If you have a woman that's strong enough to do whatever it is she can do without you, then it doesn't matter who pays what at the end of the day. Now, I will say this.
Okay.
I will say this just to end it off. If you're in a position where you're 50-50 or whatever the case may be, and let's say you moved into your woman's home, if she does change the dynamics of everything, what do you care? If you are in a position where you be like, well, I didn't sign up for this, and then you split your separate ways, and you could take care of yourself or whatever the case may be. I think sometimes we don't put enough I don't think we put enough emphasis on being able to have that freedom. I think it's been so drilled into us that if you're a man, you have to run everything and make all the decisions and be the head of the household, when in all actuality, you should only just be doing what makes you ultimately happy. And secondly, what makes more financial sense. That's what I think. And, I could be wrong. I don't.
Like I said, people live in an array of different ways. But if a woman comes to my house, ain't none of that going on. None of that's going on. Now, there may be a guy out there for you that will put his name on the cable bill and be like, hold on, you ordered that. I ain't paying that 16. There may be a guy out there for you. There may be a guy that will go up to the McDonald's counter and say, why you getting a large fry? Matter of fact, give me your $5.50. It may be a guy out there that says, I'm not going to pay your car note. It may be, that's not what it is when you come to the Guru Pitka. If you come to my house, I pay all your freaking bills, period. Now, you can work and make more money and you can do all those beautiful things. And, you can come on out and be a tiger or whatever old girl said. But at the end of the day, if you're with me, you live under my roof. It's that freaking simple. Well, I make more money. I need a better roof. Then we need to part as ways. You need to go get your own roof. When you come to me, you come and you are agreeing to be under my agenda. That's what it is. My agenda is what you're coming to, and there is no compromise of that. Now, I'm not saying you can't do art, you can't do what you want to do, but you're gonna live where I provide. You're gonna drive the car I provide, and that's that. We have nothing else to talk about. Now, if you want to go get your own car on the side on yourself and you say, I just want this car and I'm going to take the money I made, I'm going to run out and go get it, cool, because the bills that matter on you staying stable for the rest of your life, I have covered. Now, you go blow your money, do what you're going to do, but the original stuff that keeps the house going, I'm going to take care of. And that's not for her. Really, that is for you. That's how I look at it. Now, I was born in the South. And down in the South, we don't play those type of games. Now, on one hand, you say, well, that's wrong. But our marriage statistics are better than the North. And the whole point to most people, excluding Law, because he's understanding the whole BS with Law is everybody wants to be, how do I be married and stay married? Well, if you keep the roles where they need to be, where both people feel secure, because you made all your money. So you should feel secure, correct? Not only of that, you get to come home and there's no bill sitting there. Everything's already taken care of. You're good to go. All you have to do is do what it is that you profess that's going to get you to contentment. I don't believe in happy. That's an evil word pushed forth by the regime. To get you to be content. You do that, it's all lovely. But your choices will not affect our annual bills because I have to keep a watch on our annual bills because, like my father said, if y'all go under, it is your fault, regardless of what you think.
It's the man's fault.
It is your fault. My dad said, it don't matter what happens. If y'all end up homeless, it is Law's fault.
Yep, it's the man's fault.
When you're on the side of the road and you got your kids, they not going to walk up to Lisa and be like, Lisa, what did you do? Look at this.
Yep, they're going to be like,
right up to you.
Law, what you do, because that's what it means to be a man. Is independent. It's irregardless. Like that's just kind of like I said, like that's just what I was taught. Like, you got to be before anything, you are a man, and a man is somebody, like I said, that takes care of his household, takes care of himself, and that's why I think that once again, if a man needs, not wants, or his wife can, but needs her to pay half, then I think that you need to work on yourself. I mean, unless you're in a situation where it's a temporary situation that you're going through, like I said, you went through a physical change, or you went through some situations, or you went through, like if you're going through surgery, or you're going through a tough time, or you're in transition, that's the purpose of having a partner. Partnership is important. But if you need her to go half, ain't no alpha male asking, or no a red pill man asking you to go half on nothing. That's just me and my philosophy. And so what was the next question? Let's see. What was the next thing that we talked about?
Hold on, we have someone else to call in. 1 second, Law. Alkanai, your stuff is messed up. It says it's disconnected. Tenzo, my guy, the guy a lot of you young booty twat should be hollering at. Look, you got the alienators on.
Nah, that's the Versace's, man. Come on, don't do that.
I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
So,
what's going on, man?
What's your view on it, Alex?
Man, to be honest with you, in my opinion, based on the title, I think truckers can be high value. Me personally, I'm starting to see that for me taking care of everything is what's best. I used to think that 50-50 would work. You know what I mean? But see, there's a lot of information that I've came across that I never heard, that I think that I should have heard when I was younger, but coming from a single parent household raised by my mother, you know what I mean? I just had to roll with the punches of what comes with not being raised with a father figure. And the reality of it is what I see now is that it's all a lie. I think that men have been lied to and women have been lied to about the roles about the roles of what man and woman are supposed to do, because I have to know the distinction between what I'm supposed to do and my capability. Just because I'm capable of doing something doesn't mean that I'm supposed to do it. You know what I mean? And I also have to realize that being better than has a completely different meaning of being equal to. You see what I'm saying? Like okay, you got the number one, right? And then you got the number two. Would you say that two is better than one? So most people might say yeah, because it's more numbers. But does it mean that more numbers means that it's better? Because let's look at the human anatomy. You know, we were all born with two ears and one mouth. You see what I'm saying? So what do I look like with two ears and two mouths? It just doesn't work like that. So the reason that I'm saying that is no, for real, because the reason I'm saying that is because we have to understand that me being greater or less than does not mean better than. And I think that somewhere in the midst of, men should do this, women should do that, I think there's been some kind of misunderstanding. You see what I'm saying? And when it comes to alphas, look, play your position. You know what I'm saying? Because a man once said that not everybody's meant to be the king. You see what I'm saying? And the reality of it is that a king is only a king because of the people that is in the king's kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Play your position. There's nothing wrong. Like nobody has to. Like not everybody can be the king. You know what I'm saying? You can either be the ear of power, or you can be the hand behind the throne. You see what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be the top dog. Everybody wants to be the top dog. But if you are not meant to be the top dog, that does not mean that you do not have a high value. You
That's
know what I mean?
that's understandable, Tenzo. But here's my issue. My issue is if that was the case, nobody would be mad at the top dog, and everybody's mad at the top dog because they want to be the top dog. And then they come over to a channel where there's a person that can tell them how to set their stuff up correctly, like a dean or something. And when they start breaking down their thought processes, which got them to where they are, people get offended. Well, that doesn't mean it's more valuable. That is irrelevant. If you want to know how to get to where a person is at and they're telling you the ABCD beliefs of their ideology to get there, where comes the problem? Because everybody wants to be the top dog. Don't nobody want to do the top dog work. Everybody wants to be in the household and say, my woman do what I tell them to do, but don't nobody want to cover all the bills. Everybody want to say, I got a hold of my woman, and if I tell my girl she ain't gonna go, well, why wouldn't she not go if you don't even take care of her stuff? There's no way you can demand respect without respectable action. It cannot be done. Now, we've had betas and all this stuff and men who had a different thought process on what a man is. We've had that for the past 30 years. Please tell me what our black neighborhood look like. Because when you go over to the white side of it, they are a seriously patriarchal society, which is where the suffrage movement came from. And do their streets and their houses and their crime look the way ours look? So if they say, well, listen, the patriarchy and the man running stuff, that's not better. How, when we have two different societies that one is not a patriarchy and one is, and one looks better and one doesn't? I'm lost. We have actual data showing us that their patriarchy to society breeds kids that come up healthier, safer, with less trauma. Then you have our society where a lot of men are not in the household, and everybody's doing this both side situation. And at the end of the day, our neighborhood is a freaking war zone. So how is that not a better way to do it?
And I think and I think you know what, and that's a good point, because it goes back to what you said, about putting in the work. One thing for sure, two things for certain. When Dean, what's up, Dean? When Dean is on here and he's giving out all the giblets, when you are on here giving out the giblet, it is from, how do I say, for most people, it sounds boring. You know what I'm saying? Because see, if I can give you the end result, right, that's what everybody gravitates to. But everything in between, nobody wants to really put in the work. So it goes back to what you were saying. I look at the black neighborhoods or low poverty black neighborhood, there's a lot of bits and pieces that are missing. But see, when we try to go ahead and say, okay, let's set up these programs, let's go ahead and try to change this, it's not attractive. You know what I mean? Like it sounds extremely boring. And I think that, there's some kind of glamour around it, and as long as people feel a certain kind of way, then it's all good and gravy. But as soon as that feeling disappears, you know what I mean, and then we're stuck with the principle, because there's principles before personalities, and the rubber meets the road. People sit back and like, dang, like, you know what, this is a lot harder than
you know what I say. You know what I say to that, Tenzo? You know what I say to that?
Yeah.
Screw them. They deserve to suck. I don't care. They're irrelevant. That's the same way when you went to class and they brought out them fractions and they started putting letters in your math joint, and one of your homeboys was like, I ain't doing this, and one said they was gonna do. How did they turn out? Who at the end of the time, when they brought up the grade came the same way. Feelings and how you feel, to me, are irrelevant. The biggest problem in Americans is over entertainment. I shouldn't have to entertain you to teach you something because you need the information. Now, people can have their own philosophies and live in the way they want to, but you cannot go and refute what I just said. What does the patriarchy society look like? And what does the one without the man at the household look like? Where's the murder rate at in the zip codes? Where's the murder rate at in the other zip code? That's where to me, that's where the rubber meets the road. In the past 30, 40 years, we've had that where they're pulling the men out of the joint, and then it's like people are changing roles and doing all this other type of stuff. What does our neighborhood look like? What does it look like? Matter of fact, there's another one for the black dudes watching. Do you live there? Half the time you don't even want to live in the part of the city where there isn't the men running the whole situation. You want to go all the way over to the nice neighborhood where it's predominantly men running everything. So how can you? How does someone explain that?
The proof is in the pudding, because I definitely agree. And this is and I agree from experience. When I look at a lot of my friends that I grew up with, I realized as I got older, I realized that one of the things that we have in common is single parent households. The father wasn't there, and we were raised by mothers. You know what I mean? And as I'm older now, I start to see certain tendencies in myself. And when I start to break down the root of why do I have this tendency or that tendency, or why am I like this or why am I like that? I really start to dissect where it all comes from. I realize, like, whoa, like I came out okay, but there's missing pieces in my life, and that's because there was no father figure in my life. You know what I'm saying? And the reason that I bring that up is because I think people focus more on the fantasy instead of the actual outcome. You know what I mean? I really think so, because it's easier said than done.
And this is why I never start the conversation with worrying about the people. If you want to suck. See, I don't see I appreciate you for calling in, Tenzo. I got to get Alkanai in here. We got people backed up. If you want to suck. That's just how I look at it. Now, you live the way you want to live. I'm not over in your house doing whatever you got to do. Everything's lovely, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get into that. See, something I heard a good person say is that I'm not going to drag anyone anywhere. You go where you want. I'm not your father. I'm not even interested in doing that, because if I have to do all of that, then I got to take responsibility to you. I'm not going to do all that. You do what you want to do. All I'm saying is, when it comes to me, and a woman that is going to date me, she is going to understand that I am the head of the household. And it's not by words, it's by action. My woman lives with me. My woman drives my car. When I go get a new one, my woman picks the car. What car do you want? Period. My woman picks where she wants to live. All I do is go in with the money in the lease situation. I want to do this. I have the credit to achieve it. You are under my roof. When she swipes her card, it is attached to my money. Simple as that. Now, if you make a bunch of money,
Ultimate Alpha Male TV, and that's what we're talking about. That's why.
hold on, your mic is Dean, your mic is out. Your mic is out.
Oh, mic is out.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me now?
No, your mic is still out. It's like we hear you through the laptop. Elkanai, what do you think?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, Elkanai, it's a good conversation. At the end of the day, all these ladies, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please, no profanity, please.
I got you, brother. Hey, great conversation. At the end of the day, all these ladies that say that they love Jesus, they love God. What does the word say in Corinthians? It said there's God, there's Jesus, there's man, and then you have the wife. There's an order. And the thing is, that's why our communities is out of order, because the men has been kicked out of the community since the 1950s. Just think about it. If we had black families since the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, and the 90s, and even now, we'll have a stronger community. But because of the crack situations in the 80s, the women's rights movement back in the 70s, that put a wedge between the husband and the wife. And now at the house, it's like a constant battle. So me as a man, I go out in the world. Other men, generally, they're in battle. And as men, we got to step up. So all you basically doing is just setting the bar here and say, man, you need to get to this place. If not, then you coming up short. That's just basically what it is.
I appreciate you so much. You are breaking up, Elkanai. Was that all you had to say?
Well, I have more, but it's all. But you ain't hear none of that.
We heard a little bit of, but it was breaking up. Go ahead.
No, you good, man. I'm just always in the bad area, man. But we'll chop it up, man. I'll holler at you later, all right?
All right. Hey, drop in the private, and I'll read it out.
All right, good to go. Shalom.
Oh, all right. Here comes a question right here. Is your stuff good now, Dean?
Let's see. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Oh, sir, your mic is still out. I'm hearing you through the laptop, boss. You may have to kick out and check it on the way in. All right. Spirit Driven's question is, at Trucker Brown, what does a woman have to do in order to deserve that type of covering? Booty meat. No, I'm just playing. No, listen. What a woman has to do to deserve that type of covering is to understand that I am the head of the household. If you have a problem submitting to a man, to me, you're a man and I'm not gay, so I'm not interested in you. If you have a problem submitting to me, you're a lesbian. You need to go get a girlfriend. I'm not your girlfriend. Okay? When I speak, it is what it is. Now, that doesn't mean I don't take consideration, because my old lady is smarter than me in a lot of ways. And she goes over stuff and says, this is probably a better. We do strategize. Okay? But my old lady can't come to me and say, we're moving to Miami. No, we're not. We're not moving to Miami. My old lady can't come to me and say, we're going to start drinking alcohol. No, we're not. But she can be like, I think this desk will be better in the room. Things like that. Or you know what you need to do in your life is this. Or you know what you need to do with your money? Because she's more versed in investment, because she is a trained investor. I told you I got a superhero over here, but I don't want to believe it. She's a trained investor. I do take into advisement on that. But the base thing is that I am the head of the household and I have veto power. I also control our lifestyle as far as how extravagant it's going to get. It's simple as that. Now, you can go buy anything, a piece of whatever you want, but when you start bringing annual bills, that's where I'm going to put the foot, hold up, stop. I can see you bought a nice couch and all that, CAD, that's cool, but certain things I don't let get out of whack. Because like I said before, if this goes down the drain, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? When you get to the courtroom law, or you get to her family's house, and and let's say something happened, you done got kicked out, her father's gonna look at who? Well, what was you doing? What did you spend your money on? Why didn't you work harder? Do you disagree?
I do, wholeheartedly. And maybe it's just because I've seen a lot, just what I've seen in my lifetime. I disagree. Unfortunately, for a lot of men out here or women, whatever the case may be. Y'all all have y'all own opinions and what y'all into. And I ain't mad at that. Some guys like sucking toes. That's their thing. You know what I'm saying?
I've sucked a few toes in my life. I admit it to you. I ain't gonna lie. I've done it.
So in Law's case, I mean, I can't help it.
I'll act like you ain't never sucked.
I've been forced into some toe sucking. Enjoy it, all right? I didn't enjoy it at all. I'm not a toe guy.
You smoked, but you didn't inhale. We
Yeah,
get
But listen, for Law, just me personally, and it's just my preference, and it is what it is.
Listen,
I like strong women. I can't help it. I like strong women. I like women that could care. I don't like, and this is just my opinion, people. When y'all could put me on the chopping block or whatever, it don't matter to me. Law's still gonna be riding around here, sitting pretty, looking good. You know what I'm saying? All my bills are paid. You know what I'm saying? Hey, everything's great over here in Law Land. But in my opinion, I think that if you take care of a woman, it's sort of like taking care of a child. I don't want a woman that I got to take care of. I want a woman that
I
can
have to take care of anyway.
No. I ain't saying that. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you have to. Just like you don't have to pay all the bills. You can go 50-50. You can pay less of the bills. You can pay all of the bills. These are all preferences in the grand scheme of things. I don't want to be with a woman that ain't doing 50-50. If you're not capable of doing 50-50, then you're not on my level and we don't have nothing to talk about. If I didn't want a woman that couldn't do 50-50, if I was with a woman that couldn't do 50-50, I might as well be single.
That's a bar. Yo, bar.
I might as well be single. Why would I be with a woman that can't meet me halfway on everything?
Hold on.
I can just be single and have you all.
Hold on, Law. I'm trying to throw you under the bus and you're stopping me. Women, what he's trying to say is that if you can't go half, you're a monkey. That's what he's trying to say. He don't do monkeys. Okay, he don't do monkeys. He ain't interested. You're broke, fat, stinking tail with a. He ain't doing none of that, bro. Women, if you trying to get with Law, you better have a back. You got to pay half, baby.
You're not getting with Law. You're not getting with Law. First of all, Law is already secured and everything. Queen Lisa is a queen for a reason. Law, this conversation, I'm not even going to entertain it. If you want to get with Law, there is no getting with Law. Law is gotten with. I have a queen. She takes care of business wholeheartedly, and she knows who the man in this relationship is. It isn't to be tested. It isn't to be tested.
Law, you are pissing women off, bro.
That's fine. 50-50 is weak. Yeah, well, keep dating the niggas. Keep dating the men that you date. That's fine. If you want a man to take care of you, find him. Find your daddy. That's cool with me. If you could find a daddy, go find him and let him tell you what to do. Or whatever the case may be, however you like. If you like your hair pulled, tell him to rip them extensions right out. I'm not a hair puller. I'm sorry.
First of all, I don't date a woman with extensions. That's cooning. But what I will say is this. Listen, everybody has their own preferences. This is what it comes to. If you want to get with light-skinned McGee, you got to pay, baby.
You got to pay.
Now look at our skin tones.
You got to pay.
Now you get my skin tone, you know what I'm saying? You don't got to pay. But if you want that light, bright, and as my mama used to say, damn near white, you got to pay for it.
Gotta
You
pay
can't
for
be
it.
with all that light skin and not pay the money.
You got to pay for it. You like it or love it. I don't care. You don't have to, though. You don't have to pay for it. That's the point. You don't have to pay for it. And if I couldn't find a woman that was willing to meet me 50-50, then I'd be single. And guess what, lady? I still be loving life. I still be having all the women I could ever want whenever I want to and taking care of myself.
Break this down for me. Okay.
And being the king of my castle.
Law, break this down for me. So does the light skin give you a premium like that? Like you can just do that?
I don't think it's the light skin. I think it's just my, I think it's just my mindset. It's just I don't
From being light skin.
I don't allow people to tell me who I am or what I should want or where I should.
I'm asking you if is that God kissed porcelain skin that you got. That make the chicks pay. Like they really hold on. First of all, let's go back into your past real quick because you like to go in the past. How many chicks you had paying back in the day? They got you gifts?
No, see, this is the thing. Lisa's the only woman that I've ever been with that met me halfway 50-50. She's the only one. She's the only one. I've lived the other way for the majority of my life. I've been the king of the castle, paid for everything, done everything. And guess what? I ain't like it. That's my option. If I don't like it, I don't like it. Would I rather be with a woman that can meet me halfway and I have more time and mental stability to work on things that I want to work on? Somebody that can invest into my business instead of somebody that can't invest into my business? And I ain't saying that if you pay all the bills, your woman can't invest in your business. It's just sometimes they can't. You know what I mean? It is what it is. If you're taking care of a woman, a lot of the times, see, this is the thing that I want to get into. I don't think that there's a bad thing that you pay all the bills. That's not a big deal to me. Okay. I don't think that as a man or alpha or whatever the case may be, if you pay all the bills, I'm not saying you're a bad person for that. I'm not saying that, you know, this, that, and the third or whatever. You know, I don't have an opinion about it. I don't even care. That's just your preference. It's just like if you like sucking toes, I think of it as the same thing. It's a preference. So at the end of the day, if a man is with a woman and she pays all the bills, I'm going to think the same way. I'm not going to think of that man as less than a man, because that means nothing, because you don't know what the other things that he do as far as providing for his family, because paying bills is just a tip of the iceberg and creating a real family, a real leadership, a real pack, a real company.
And if you miss that iceberg, y'all going to be outside. Real quick, Phil. Just Phil.
Yeah, that's a very interesting dynamic.
Listen,
I mean,
just Phil. You're dark as me.
Yep.
You got these. Let me pull you out, because you're gonna get in front of Just Phil. You're gonna talk over him. Just Phil. You the same complexion.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know. Right. You got these women paying 50% of your bills, bro. You got it like that?
No, I mean, in the beginning, prior to me being married, I had that envision of having like a power couple 50-50 dynamic, but after getting married, I came to realize that's not realistic. So my household adjusted accordingly.
So, but law says
I don't. That's not a diss to my spouse or anything of the sort like that. I'm perfectly fine with taking care of everything, because that's, in my opinion, the way it should be anyway. Now that I actually am married.
Now, law says that he don't want no chick that can't pay 50%. The monkeys.
I mean, like I'm kind of like you. If you have that ability to add more to the table, then sure, that's all fine and good. But we're gonna live according to what my lifestyle can ascertain.
Mic check, am I back?
You are good. There's a lot of stuff that's been said since you've been gone, Dean, and basically what's been said is that, you know, if she can't meet 50-50, she ain't worth his time. He can just be single.
Well, that's it. I disagree with that. I think you need to be a man. Why do you need a woman to pay half of anything? I think everybody has to figure out, well, what value does she add to your life? If that's the case, if that's true, you can get a male roommate. But I don't understand. Like, so what is it that you value? What do you think that a woman adds to your life? What's your definition of a woman adding value?
Man, I wasn't even in the thing. I mean, thank you for bringing me in. He's asking me questions. I don't know. The question is, what do I think a woman adds to me?
Yeah. So what do you think? So you think a woman
balance,
adding balance? Okay.
Balance.
You add balance.
That's all the woman provides for me is balance. That's the honest to God. Me being in a relationship with a woman is just to provide balance. I don't need her for nothing else. I don't need a woman for anything.
But you just said you need her to pay half, though.
But for balance, the only reason that I have anybody around me is because they are there to give me a voice of reason or help me when I'm not seeing clearly, because all of us lose focus at times. Now, would I be able to stay focused enough to survive and live better than most in America without a woman? Yeah, of course I would. It's not even, it's no pressure. I mean, I'm a dope individual, but I just don't waste my time with women that can't provide what I want. It's my preference. It's like, just like you said.
Well, let me ask you a couple of questions. Let me ask a couple of questions though. So So I want to make sure I understand this.
Yes.
So you believe that the only value that a woman adds is her financial ability or balance?
No, not the financial ability. I don't even need her for the financial ability. See, this is the
Okay,
thing.
so I'm confused.
I don't need her.
But hold on for a second. TB said that I didn't know this was you that said that. But so TB said that if a woman doesn't pay half, then are you the one that said this? TB, who said this?
He said that if he's dealing with, hold
this.
on. He said that I have no reason to deal with a woman if she can't meet him halfway. That's what he said. He didn't say he needed it, but he said he has no reason to deal with a woman that can't meet him halfway.
I don't need it. I could do everything that I'm currently doing now by myself.
That's because you're a man. That's what we're talking. That's what we're talking about. That's what it's about. It's about. That's what it's about. So I think that I don't know. We're saying the same thing because if you're
kind of are, it's just that we're talking about preferences, not needs. You know what I mean? Like we always get wrapped around this, need.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm using specific words. I'm not saying apples and oranges. That's why I said can versus need. I said need. So there's no need to put that argument if you're saying the same thing. Don't be arbitrary just for the sake of being arbitrary.
No, I'm not being arbitrary. I'm just not. You saying that exactly what you're saying is not my lifestyle. So I'm the message that you're putting out.
Confusion. Then I'm confused then because if you're saying the same thing, so like I said, a man that needs a woman to pay half of his bills is not a red pill or alpha male.
This is a fact. Yes, you are absolutely correct in that.
So those were the specific words that we talked about. So everything else. So like that's what we're talking about. Need. I said specific need.
Yeah,
and then we went into some diatribe about Oprah, and then we started asking the females if they wanted a man to pay half and different things. So I think we're specifically said need. A man should be a man before he's anything, before he even thinks about dating a woman. Like if I was blessed enough and the Lord blessed me with a son, I'm going to teach him that he needs to be a self-sufficient man when he's 16 years old. And he needs to be learning how to be a self-sufficient man.
I absolutely agree with that.
Okay.
This is where the information gets tangled though. When I ask people this specific question,
okay,
if your woman pays 50-50, does that make you less than a man? That's what all I'm saying. Like
if you need her, so let me make sure that
if you have that situation where you can pay all the bills, but you don't, because that ain't the type of woman that you into. You don't want a woman that can't pay 50.
Hold on, wait. Listen, there was more questions that we didn't. I don't understand the purpose of this. There were more questions that people was asking, and we got stuck on this fact. I think that it's very clear. If you ask me my opinion, need, N-E-E-D is a word in the English dictionary, and it means something. Okay, if you need for her to pay half of it, that makes you less of a man. You need to focus on being the best man that you can be. Now, if she pays half, if you are a wise man, you would take her half and you would take what she brings in and invest it into your future. If you were wise, you would invest it into a business. If you were wise, you would invest it into a piece of real estate. If you were wise, you would invest it into growing wealth. I don't know.
Agreeable facts. Yes.
This is what we're talking. Now, we're not saying if your woman is paying half and you're not doing those things, you are being a foolish man and you're being unwise. So if she does do that and you're not any better off, then if you're tricking on the money, if you don't have anything to show for it, that means that you're not utilizing your resources properly.
To be honest,
I'm saying that if a man needs a woman to pay for half of it, you're not an alpha male, you're not a red pill male, and you're mismanaging life. You got priorities the different way. Now,
I agree, but this is the thing: you can replace the word man with just human. women should feel the same way about themselves. If they need a man to take care of them, they're not a red pill woman. They're not a real woman to me, in all honesty. If you need a man, if you need a man, and we're talking about need, N-E-E-D by its definition. If you're the type of woman that need a man to take care of you, you're a horrible person. You're a horrible human being. You should never put yourself in a position where you need anyone. And I'm a military guy, so maybe that's why I feel that way.
But what about our grandparents?
I mean, there's no men and women. We all green.
Hold on, wait. So wait. So I think the thing is, I think you're being a little bit you're being a bit arbitrary. So I think that you are creating hypotheticals, and we're talking about the sanction of. Let me explain. We're talking about the sanctions of a relationship where we have two people that are staying together. Even swap ain't swindle, and fair exchange isn't robbery. Let me give you an example. If you have a woman, she should not be mentally retarded. She should have some facilities and some capabilities of herself to where, God forbid, if you were to go into hard times, then she can kick in. At the same time, if she submits to you, and if she does your cooking, she does your cleaning, she organizes your life, if she manages your household better than you, she's doing her job. She's doing the things that she can do, that she's doing. She's submitting it to you. Now, of course, I think that it's a foolish argument. I think it's barbershop talk, and I think it's a frivolous conversation to say, well, of course, everybody needs to. I mean, you're a human being. We're not talking about kids. So yes, but if she chooses to allow her man to provide for her, and she chooses to submit to her man, and she chooses to be a mother, because being a mother and being a wife is a job within itself. Being a housekeeper, in my opinion, is the best and most rewarding and most praised position a woman could have, to be a mother and to be a wife. I believe being a mother and being a wife is much better than being a CEO. I personally believe being a mother and being a wife is a lot sexier than being a PhD. That's just me. That's just what I believe. And so I believe that now a lot of times women have children not wanting to be mothers. Women get with men not wanting to be wives. We're not talking about having a boyfriend and having a live-in situation. Now, you and I might think differently because you are not married, and you use the excuse of
excuses.
Well, I mean, no, it is an excuse. You can be married and have a prenuptial agreement. But I'm saying this is the thing you're using. Okay, I don't want to use that word excuse. You're using the logic of you're not going to get married because of the contractual aspects of it. At the same time, if you have a prenuptial agreement, all of that is null and void.
It ain't got nothing to do with that.
So when it comes to legacy,
it don't have nothing to do with the prenuptial. The reason why my marriage at this time, like the woman I'm with, why our marriage wouldn't work, has nothing to do with prenuptial, me getting more from her or her getting more from me. It has nothing to do with that. It's like I say, it's more of a business deal. Our finances and everything are better kept in check by us being single and not married. Tax-wise and everything. It has nothing.
That's fine. I personally, but marriage is a spiritual thing. If you're going to get married to somebody, it's a spiritual connection, and we're talking about a family. We're not talking about a living situation, and we're not talking about like a business aspect of it. So I think that's the thing that we're talking about, like having a mother and a father, having children together. We're talking about a legacy. That's when we're talking about. When I talk about marriage and I talk about a family, when I talk about the dynamics of a relationship, when it comes to that, I'm not talking about you being 40 and don't want kids and she being 40 and don't want kids and y'all just living y'all best lives together. That's not what we're talking about. Not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody that is trying to leave an inheritance for their children's children and doing it with a wife and not a baby mama.
We talking the same thing. And the woman that I'm with is not the mother of my kids either. We got a whole different.
Are you guys gonna have kids together?
No, I can't even have
that's
kids.
What I'm saying. Like, so we're not talking the same thing.
You're not
you're not building a family with her.
No, we have a family. There's
you have
already built.
You have a blended family.
We have a blended
no,
family.
you don't have a family because she's not your wife.
She's
That's
not
your
my wife,
girlfriend.
but a wife.
She's not your family.
What you talking about from a spiritual level and what love is and all of that has nothing to do with signing a piece of paper. That's my whole thing. Being married, nobody can tell you. No government, no state, no piece of paper can tell you.
We're talking about she's not
business.
No, she's your roommate and she's your girlfriend. She's not your wife.
Have you she's not my wife. I said I'm not married.
Yeah, so that means that you don't have family. That means that you don't. That means that if you were to get sick and on your deathbed, she can't come in to see you because she's not your wife. That means that if you were to die, hold on, listen. That means if you were to die and you had a $10 million policy, she doesn't automatically get it. She has to fight through probate to get it. She's not your wife. She's your girlfriend.
Yeah, but there are legal.
Hold on for a moment. No, now I want to speak. If we're going to talk, we're going to talk truth to power. We're not going to talk about. We're going to talk specifics. We can't. Hold on for a second now. Now, what I'm saying is that she is your girlfriend and she's your business partner. She's not your family. She's not your wife.
No, she's not my wife.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about.
Family
We're talking about family, and when I talk about being red pill alpha, we're talking about in the guise of a married relationship. We're not talking about in a cohabiting situation. You all don't have no family. She's your roommate and she's your girlfriend, but she's not your family. She's not your wife. And this is the reason why we have to speak specific. And if I'm on a platform, I'm gonna speak truth to power, because this is the problem in the African American community. We say this new age stuff that does not. It does, and this is what keeps us back and what keeps us separated. We have to be specific about it. And being specific about it is the fact. And no, let's talk about a fact, because listen, the situation is if you were to have a loan for $300,000, she has no right to receive the benefits of that because she's your girlfriend and your roommate. But if she was your wife, then she will be able to have access to that. And if you had a prenuptial agreement, that prenuptial agreement will allow you to have your assets to be protected and have your business to be protected. But we're talking about the guise of a husband-wife family situation, not a live-in girlfriend, not a business partner, not a roommate.
These are all things business contracts can clear up quick. There's nothing that you can't do in a marriage that I can't do as a single person, as far as finances with my girlfriend or whoever. I could do this with my best friend. I could die today and my best friend can own most of my assets through business.
How? If you die today, how? Explain that.
Not through a contract.
No. You die. No, if you die today. No, if you die today.
Yes.
If you die today, and if the contract is not already written, how?
Then that's poor business management. If the contract,
no, it's not. Hold on, let me explain. Let me explain. No, listen. This is a show about finance, and let me explain.
Okay, let's talk about finance.
Let me explain, because let me explain. If your wife, when you die and you have a wife, there's something that's called probate court. And what happens is automatically, there's no you ain't got to get no attorneys. You don't have to get no will. You don't have to get no special ink pen. She automatically inherits it. Automatically, because she is your family and she is your wife.
No, she don't.
Listen, we're talking about if you die today. So that's the reason why I hate barbershop talk, because
that's what I'm saying. If I die today, my woman does that.
Hold on for a second. Listen, because there are people that are 18 years old and 19 years old that's listening. They need to know the truth.
Right. That's why I'm trying to put them up.
So let me explain them. Let me explain it from a matter of fact way. If you do not have a will and testament, and if you don't have a contractual agreement, the reality of the situation is, if you were to have a best friend and you were to die today, don't you know that contract will be caught up in litigation for anywhere from 6 to 12 months? It's not an automatic thing that they get it. Do you understand that?
I mean, if you ask me, yes, I understand that. So
okay, so for the people that don't, for the young men and young women that's listening that don't, that's why there's a difference. from a family member and a friend or a living girlfriend. When you are a family, when you have a wife, and if something were to happen, your assets are automatically hers, where you don't have to fight in probate court. Because what will happen is the government is going to try to take everything that you own before they honor a contractual agreement through somebody that's not a family member.
Right. So let me ask you this
Hold
question.
on, no pause. Listen to what I said. Don't argue and let it sink in.
I'm not arguing at all. I'm just asking questions.
So listen,
You let me know what you're
don't
done,
ask
and
the
I'll
question.
put my thing
Don't
on
ask the question. Let it pause and sink in, because this is the type of information, this type of misinformation that is being being sown into the community, and it's a half truth. And so I want to make sure we talk about a full truth and not say that hypothetically speaking, if I were to die the day my best friend could. No, if she's your wife, she automatically, instantly, do not pass go, collect $200. The wealth is automatically hers. Not having to go through court, having to hire an attorney, having to fight and have things sit in a trust, or having things to sit with a mediator before things are mediated. So this is the reason why this type of information needs to be explained in its totality, so people can make the right type of decision. If you have children with somebody, me personally, if you have children with somebody, that person automatically needs to have access to all the things that you have without having to worry about fighting a year to get it. And this is the type of information that needs to be spoken about in its totality. So this is the reason why this type of rhetoric is important, because I don't want people to say, well, it sounds good, but they don't understand the specificity and practicality of how it works. And so that's why we talk about the difference between a wife and a living girlfriend and a contractual agreement with a best friend.
Well,
Yeah,
this is the thing about the wife thing, and that is true. I know, because that is what Dean does he does things like that for a living. I'm still not getting married personally.
That's fine. You don't. That's fine.
Now, you do what you want to do. At the end of the day, I think we probably harped on this a little bit too long. This is what we're gonna do. We have people lining up in the thing. We're gonna call the people. We're gonna call the people in. Let me back you two out. Hold on. Matter of fact, Law, say what you have to say to conclude, so we can move on to other people.
everything that I've set up, it goes to my next of kin. And I've set everything up for it to go to my next of kin. And they can't access those funds, which I don't have much of because I'm not a rich man. I have a couple assets, and they get a couple things more than my daddy left me. But other than that, as far as life insurance policies, as far as my business and everything, it's already wrote up. It goes to my next kin at a certain age, and it goes to them at a certain age, and it's been, power of attorney and all of that, so that their mother can get a hold of it and access those funds when they're at a young age and they can't do certain things when they are ready to, which mine is set up at 24. I think that's a reasonable age. It might change as my son. I can go in and I have a lawyer. I have, CPAs or whatever the case may be. I have different people that write up certain contracts, deeds, whatever I need to do. You know what I mean? Get houses redeeded, or, get a car retitled. All of this is as simple as just doing paperwork. Now, as far as getting married, like I said, if you want your woman to have control of all of that, or whatever the case may be, then yeah, you probably want to get married so that they are the number one and always got in control of everything. And, everything that Dean said, yes. But with the way that my relationship works, or family, which he doesn't consider family, or whatever the case may be, because it's illegal. It's not legally. She's not legally my family. Her kids are not legally my kids, and my kids are not legally her kids. That's fine. You do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? To make your situation work. My situation works for me. Everybody doesn't, that's why every shoe doesn't fit every man. You know what I mean? We all have our own fit and our own size. So I'm not mad at Dean or TB or whoever gets on this platform and wants to do things and set their business up and their relationship and their insurance and all of that up a certain way. Law has his priorities together. You know what I'm saying? I know these laws and rules and all of that. And my woman does too. That's why she has separated certain things so that they go to her kids and they don't come to me. She want to make sure her kids are taken care of first, not me. And I respect her for that. And it's the same thing on my end. I would rather my kids be taken care of and get most of the things that I get, not my woman. My woman should be in a position where she don't need anything from me. My kids do because of age, because of, and as they get older, that changes. If I live, God bless, old enough to see my kids have kids and they get to a age where they're teenagers, they're getting written out of the will. They going to the grandkids. I'm not giving my kids nothing. I'm giving it to the grandkids. Things change. These contracts change. And
well, listen, I mean, everybody has their view on how they want to do it, but I got to get to some other callers. I appreciate you for giving your side.
Outstanding.
Don't do
hey, God bless y'all. Love y'all.
All right. If anybody else has a question for Dean,
Well,
let him go.
While we waiting for people to have to call in and then talk about something, there's three things I wanted to address. Two things that Law said and something that somebody said in the comments. But one thing that Law said, so I guess the difference is, so on our platform, we are about everybody else and not just about ourselves. And Law is very smart. And so Law is the exception, but not the rule. And I would argue and say that 80% of men don't even know what a trust is. But 100% of men listen to what other men say. So we, especially in our community, in the blue collar community, we take advice from other men that we respect, like men like Law, because he's a very smart man. We would listen to some of the things he say. At the same time, if we don't give out full detail, that's when it becomes dangerous. And then people like us have to fix it, because somebody will end up happening. Somebody will say, well, Law, let me give you an example. The girl says, well, my husband, Jimmy, died. Well, my boyfriend, Jimmy, died. The whole time she's saying he my husband. They don't have no wedding. They have nothing at all. But everybody says that this is my wife. This is my wife. This is my wife. Jimmy and Law are best friends. Law has a trust set up. His kids are straight. His kids automatically is his next of kin. And so because Law has a trust set up, Law's kids are going to be taken care of. Well, Jimmy follows Law, takes Law's advice, like, oh, you don't got to get married. Jimmy dies, and he has a trifling baby mama. And what happens is that life insurance policy will go to his next of kin. His next of kin is not Lucy, who's been taking care of him for the past 18 years. It goes to the baby mama, because the baby mama is the one that is the guardian of his next of kin. And so now Lucy is out there in the cold, was like, well, he said he was my husband and we said we was husband and wife, but we really weren't on paper. So the reality is we have to say, if we're going to talk and we're going to teach, we have to teach a full truth. And so that's the reason why it's important to understand, because the number one best-selling book of all time says people perish for lack of knowledge. And so Law is sharp enough to have a trust, but the average person does not have a trust. Like, for instance, I don't have a trust. I have businesses, and my businesses are set up, and my daughter is set up in a different way, but I personally don't have trust. When I have more children, when I get remarried, I will. I want to have more children. I want to have more kids, so that way I can have that set up in the future. But for the average Joe, the average person doesn't know what a trust is. They don't even understand what a trust is. They don't know the difference between a revocable trust or irrevocable trust. So now we're talking about things that need in-depth conversation, instead of just saying, oh, well, she my wife and she gets it anyway if something happened. Like, no, if you are riding down the road, God forbid, a four-wheeler comes in front of you, cuts you off, and you jackknife, and now you're on life support, and your girlfriend or your wifey, who's your wife, can't come in to see you because she's not related to you. She's just your roommate and your girlfriend. So now your family is calling and she's freaking out, and they're like, well, they won't let me in. You got to wait till his mama come down from Mississippi or his mama come down from Cincinnati. This is real life stuff that I see all the time. And what happens is that because of this type of conversation and barbershop talk and half truths and this type of perpetuated sense of financial literacy is what keeps our community down. And that's why you have to figure out, if you do love a woman, And if you are taking care of her and providing for her, you need to do so by getting married, in my opinion, and have a prenuptial agreement to protect assets, but to make sure that she's protected. And if she's doing a good job of being a woman and she's taking care of you, taking care of your kids, making sure everything is straight and taken care of and provided for, you should do what the best to make sure that she's taken care of and provided for too when you're in a situation where you can't talk. Like I had my uncle just went through a situation where my uncle is a man. My uncle helped raise me. He's a man's man. He could not talk for 5 months. For 5 months, he could not talk because he built buildings for a living, and something beam came and hit him on his head. Now, granted, we were in a situation to where next of kin was my other uncle, which is his brother, was in the same city of Atlanta, was able to take care of some things, but his girlfriend was catching all type of hell, and she couldn't get nothing. And my aunties, my brothers next of kin, not my uncle brother, my uncles next of kin, my aunties and my mom were gonna let the girlfriend have nothing. They was like, no, she can't have anything, because everything happened to the next of kin. And this is the type of stuff that we need to learn so that we can understand. So when people are making decisions, they can make decisions the right way. And this is the type of stuff that we need to talk about. And the reason why you need a mentor, or you need business coaching, and you need financial literacy, so that we don't just have a form of knowledge, but we understand it. The #1 best-selling book of all time said, in all of your getting, get understanding. So that way you can understand what you're signing up for and understand what you have to go through. So that means that you can understand it. So that's the reason why I can't be on a platform and have somebody say something salacious like, oh, well, it'll automatically happen anyway, or my best friend can do that. No, you have to explain how. Because if I'm on the platform and I don't explain in detail that you're going to have to go to 6 to 12 months of probate court and litigation and arbitration to get those things, then that means that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do.
He said he has it set up correctly. He won't have to go to.
I'm not talking about law. See, the problem, law keep talking about itself. I'm talking about the 18-year-old that's watching right now in Detroit. I'm talking about the 17-year-old that's watching right now in Chicago. I'm talking about the 32-year-old that's watching in Florida. We're not talking about law. We're talking about the people. Remember, TV, you and I are teachers on the platform.
Correct.
People listen to us. We're not talking about law. Law too self-centered. He talking about himself. We ain't talking about him. Like I said, the scenario that I talked about was law's friend, not law. Like I said, law is set up. We ain't talking about law. We're talking about the people that listen to us because we're content creators. And we're teachers, and and people listen to us. When we say things, people do it. People say, what CDL school should I go to? You say it and they do it. People say, should I drive reefer, or should I do step deck, or should I do dry van? And you say something and they do it. So when you have influence and you have power, that's the people that I'm talking to. I'm not talking to law. Law straight. We're talking about everybody else.
Okay, well, we nipped the law thing in the bud. We have a few more calls before we let Dean go, because he's a busy man. We done kept him for 3 hours. Astronaut status.
How you doing? How you doing? What's up?
I'm doing okay.
What's going on, boss?
Got a question, man. Make it real sweet and short. First of all, man, I think that this couple have a lot of layers to it. I've seen men doing 50-50. I've seen men 100%. But I got a problem with someone calling another man less than a man, because I've seen men out here busting their chops, and they may need help from their woman, but they are doing all the best they can. Some guys came out of jail. Some guys working their butts off, best they can do. I'm just saying, I think that there are all kind of layers to this conversation. There's no one size fit all. But to call a man less than a man, I got a problem with that, because I don't subscribe to alpha male, beta male. I think we all men. And we have our own faults and flaws, our own demons, our own hiccups, our own, you know what I'm saying? I just think we're all men. Yes, there are some men who need help more than others, but to call another man less than a man, in my opinion, my manhood is who I am. It's my essence. To attack my manhood, that's personal. Okay. So, I mean, in my opinion, law is a man. In my opinion, he said that He said that he took care of the woman. He paid all her bills. He didn't like it. He didn't like it. So I respect that. In his spirit, he felt like, you know what, man? Somehow she getting over on me. Because you know what? I'm be real. You know what? This YouTube thing, I have seen women on these channels. They are being taught to find a man, get the bag. They have this misconception. They think that if I find a man, he take care of me, they home chilling. They watching these housewife shows.
Sir,
They have it all messed up.
Sir,
They think that
you say you this is a statement, not a
Okay.
question. So the thing you have a cardinal issue with is someone saying that if a man cannot take care of his situation, he is less than a man. That's what you have a cardinal issue with.
Well, I'm saying if a man going half and half with a woman, that's their situation. But like they said, you don't know what he's doing behind closed doors. Like my father was going half and half with my stepmom, but he did so many other things behind the scenes. For example,
Well, hold on, let me ask you a question. Did your father need her to go half and half, or did he choose for her to go half and half?
Good question. I would say he chose because in his
Okay,
mind,
so then we're saying the same thing.
We're in the same thing. We didn't say if you
We
choose.
said if a man needs,
okay,
words have power. Words mean things.
I
We
got
didn't say if she chose to. We said
Okay.
if you need them to.
So I got a question. I got
Yes,
a question. And thank y'all for the opportunity to talk. I got a question. But my thing is, I have seen these channels, man. Women are being taught to find a man, get the bag, and in their mind, they think that they go sit home and chill. My thing is, if I'm going 100%, what are you gonna do? Because I better shop at Gucci.
Agree, and you're 100% correct, and that's why channels like this are teaching men how to be red pill and how to choose the right type of woman that doesn't think like that. That's the reason why this is the reality of the situation. You chose that woman.
Okay.
You did. Nobody made you choose to be with a trifling chick.
You're right.
So you chose. That's the reason why we are teaching men how to choose the right type of woman that's going to add value.
I got you.
We're teaching men how to be the best version of themselves so they can attract the best type of woman that's going to make them better. Because you are right, there is this women's lib movement to where these modern women are being taught that if they can get with the man and what's mine is mine and what's his is mine, which is some foolishness. So that's the reason why we are teaching, and men like Kevin Samuels, myself, and others are teaching on how you're supposed to choose and find the right type of woman, be the best version of yourself. So instantly, if you see this happening, you can kick her out of your house. You can tell her that this is my car. You gotta get a taxi and leave my house and give me my keys to my car if you see that she's using you. But if you're in a situation where you're begging for a place to sleep at night, if you're in a situation where the house is in her name, the car is in her name, and you're in a position where you positioned yourself as being less of a man, you positioned yourself that way, then you're in a situation where you have to put up with her foolishness. That's why what we teach is that you need to be a man before anything, so that if you do see that negative behavior, you don't have to put up with it because you don't have no place to go.
Okay, one last question, man. First of all, thank you, sir, for the opportunity to talk, and thank you, sir, for your time. One last question. I was raised in church, right? I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm a truck driver. I'm a cool dude, single with no kids. It is very hard. It is very hard
to find good women nowadays.
To find a black woman who wants to submit to you. I'm telling you, brother, you can be paying all the bills. They will tell you in your face. They will tell you in your face, I am not going to submit to a man. You're paying all the bills.
And listen, and I'm so glad you, boss. I'm so glad you said that.
Black women.
I'm so glad you said that. It's not black women. It's modern day African American.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
like I said, I live out of the country. And it will be very difficult for me to be with a African American woman. I'll be with a black woman all day long, but an African American woman who's modernized African American, I can't do that. And that's the reason why, as like I said, I'm red pill. You dig? I'm red pill and I'm woke. So matter of fact, TB, I want to. This is the other thing I wanted to see. Shay, now because we're on your channel, I'm gonna do this. I won't do this on my channel, but I'm gonna do this on your channel. Okay. I'm gonna do this on your channel. You see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you tell me, what color is she?
She look Latino to me.
Why does she look Latino to you?
Skin tone, hair texture.
So you see her skin tone is not the same as mine?
No.
She don't look black to you?
She doesn't look black to me, no.
Okay. All right.
She was fine though.
They don't look black to you?
What we think you.
She don't look black to you?
I mean, there's black women who wear hair like that. So I mean, who wear the fake hair. But if I'm assuming that she's natural, I would think she's Latino. But I mean, she's dang sure shaped like a.
We're not talking about the shape, man. We're talking about the skin.
I don't see the shape.
All you see the shape. Okay, but
but I've dated black women that tone before.
You dated black women this tone before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, she looks black from that angle.
She looked black, right?
Right.
All right. This is one of my friends. Okay. This is another one of my friends. Her skin tone. We're not talking about her hair.
She looks black.
She looked black, right?
Right.
She looked black. Skin tone. Skin tone.
Lee father. Yeah, she looks black. I got an aunt that look like her.
All right. She looked black to you, right?
Right.
These are stills from videos that I've had, and these are friends of mine, different friends of mine.
Christ.
Okay, these women are what you would consider Afro-Latina. The only difference between her and Bonquisha is her grandmama got off the boat before she did. So you're able, and all of these women, if I call them right now, if I call them right now, like I said, I wouldn't do this on my channel because no face, no case. If I ask them to right now, I said, baby, I want to see you tonight. They will come cook for me. They would clean for me. They would do any and everything that I want, bathe me. They would do any and everything that I wanted to do to be in my presence and to be with me. Has nothing to do with the fact that I'm got a restaurant. Has nothing to do with the fact that I am financially together. It has all to do with the fact of these are women that understand their role of being a submissive woman, and they want me in their lives. These are different female friends of mine. So that being said, it's not that it's the black woman, it is the African American modern woman, because there are women that are black. Like if she and I, my daughter is lighter than her. My daughter is lighter than her. Matter of fact, she might be the same shade as my daughter. She is the same. She's definitely the same shade of my daughter. And my daughter's black.
Is that a swimsuit or?
Yeah, it's what happens that when women wear. We was on the way to the kids and making a video, but yeah, it's a swim thing. it's a swim thing.
I'm a very conservative guy.
Yeah, no, we were going to the rooftop. This is a private event. This is like I got a video for it. I can't show the video, but yeah. So we're private. So let's go. So I said all of that to say that it's not about the color of their skin. It's all about the content of the character. And it's that modern African American woman that has that I don't want a man, don't need a man. But those three women are some of my good friends. I have some other ones that are a lot more different complexion than that, but I have some that are good friends. And also, look, also one other thing too is natural hair, not and they have like Pam, the last one here, Pam. This is her natural hair, her natural bob. That's her natural hair. That's her natural hair.
That it. Well, Dean, you know my my views.
Matter of fact, y'all look about the same complexion, and I know you black.
That's true, but you know my views on women that I choose to date have to be from American chattel slave.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah, that's you. That's you. I get that.
You know, I ain't hating on your group because
that is also because now TB, you don't have a passport.
True.
And you've never tasted the fruits.
I have not tasted,
but also you don't need to. Wait. You don't need to because you got sister-in-law.
This is
and
true.
You have a good woman.
Also,
so you don't need to.
Also, my problem with as far as dating Puerto Ricans and Dominican Republican and those type of Afro Latinos is that the ones that I've ran into, not saying that all of them feel this way, they don't consider themselves black. That's my understanding of being around them on the East Coast. We know there's a lot of Puerto Ricans and all that stuff out there. So that's my view on it. And I feel personally that my people bled on this land, so I'm not leaving. That's my view. Now, listen, if I was in my backsliding days, I would with you and call it STD, no problem. But it just because I would have wilded out. I wouldn't did it as well as you did. I would have went all the way to the left. But me personally, I know what my triggers are, and I keep myself in a pocket of what is good for my temperament. I can't go out there and live your lifestyle and not fall off the rails, Dean. I can't do it.
Yeah, it takes a certain type of person. I mean, like I'm weird. Like I'm really weird. Like people tell me that all the time. Like I'm very, very weird. I try to be very disciplined on certain things. I get that. I get that. I'm very weird. But that's how come I felt like I'm kind of able to kind of do that because it is hard. I'm not gonna lie. There are times where I want to do absolutely nothing. There are times where all I want to do is spend time with one of my female friends or go out and find a new female friend, or like there's some that I didn't show you, but nevertheless, I get what you're saying. But
hey, listen, like I said, me and you are able to be friends because we are different.
Yeah.
I'm not, we don't want the same things.
Want the same thing, yeah.
So I mean, we can look at each other's situation from the outside looking in with no malice or bias because that is not our current goal. Now, me personally, it takes me a year to be sexual with a woman anyway. It takes 12 months.
There you go.
I prefer kinkier hair. That's another thing too. And if I can, I'm not cut off to this. I usually gravitate towards darker women. That's not a moral thing. That's just
it's a preference. Yeah, absolutely. It's a preference.
What Jimmy down there wants. Now, what I will say is from reading a couple of the women in the thing that
somebody said I was a traitor.
Yeah, there's a lot of you're not making the African American women happy, but at the same time,
it's okay. It's true. But I mean, hey, it's true.
If they ran into a Idris Elba who's not American, they'd be all over it. And
Idris Elba is British.
Yeah, from United Kingdom, exactly. So it's not. Hey man, different strokes for different folks. I'm not gonna say hey, if I was over there, but forget about it. But I will say, I try to keep myself in a pocket where I can be the best. I can be home. Let's get these people out of here real quick, Dean. Phil, do you have a question?
No, my question would be kind of redundant at this point, so I'll pass for today.
All right, then. Hold on. Official Willis, what is your question? Quick.
I got anything to say. I was listening.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I'm taking care of you, bro. Victor Reed, do you have a question? Quick. We can't hear you, Victor.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can.
Quick, but first off, can you put Bonquisha back up there, please? Y'all alone,
I don't
man.
think
They're not catching the gems, Dan. They're not catching the gems.
They're not catching it.
But now, quick question, Dan. I spoke with Patricia. It's something totally different. I spoke with Patricia,
Okay.
and she said that you know
Yes.
you're pretty booked up and full. So I'm calling to see if I could put in my TB promo code and get bumped up and discount.
Whoa! I put a promo code out.
I tried that one.
Yo, what, bro?
I'm just saying, Dan. I'm a young
Dean, are
man,
you
I'm
booked up?
24, man, and I'm trying to.
I didn't know you was busy like that, bro. You ain't got no more space for the haste. What's going on?
Yeah, I do. But what date? What date did
put
she
you on
give
the
you?
spot or nothing.
What date did she
Like
give you? Did you?
2 weeks from today.
She gave you 2 weeks from today.
Yep, 29th. And I don't mean to put you on the spot or nothing, but I'm young and I'm hungry and I'm trying to get it.
Okay. Did you already pay for your consultation?
No, not yet. I could pay today.
What's your name?
Victor.
Victor what?
Reed. Victor Reed. R-E-E-D. She wrote it down.
All right, Victor Reed. All right, if you call back,
Got that woman in trouble. Jesus Christ.
Go ahead, TV. Go ahead, TV.
if you call back, if you call back and you are serious and you pay for your consultation today, what's today? Today is Tuesday.
Today is Tuesday, July 13th, 2021.
Normally I don't do consultations on Saturdays, but I will do this Saturday at 12 o'clock.
Wow, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you, Dan.
Damn, man, you gonna hit the cash app? I got you past the Gladius.
I'm about to hit the cash out, bro.
I appreciate you. If you got Gladys fired, bro, I'm gonna call you out about that, dog. For real, dog. She was gonna get to you. Give her a second, bro. Dang. Your secretary slipping, Dean. I need to get in right now. Screw it. Yeah. Hey, Victor, make sure you call in next time. We're gonna wrap this up. We're hitting 4 hours, buddy.
Man, most definitely. Thank you, brother. Like always, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate the love. I'm gonna expect that cash app. Don't do drugs. Listen, Dean, this has been an epic 3,000 playbacks within the live.
Yes, sir.
Average time 30 minutes. Whew! You had them stuck in here.
We was talking truth to power, man. We was talking about good stuff.
Listen, when you and Law get together, it's always an explosive situation. So listen. I know y'all have different views, but that's exactly why I feel like y'all should do a live. That's exactly why I feel like you should do a live. Listen, my understanding of media is that the conflict is what pushes. If it bleeds, it leads. That's a reason why Dr. Umar keeps going on Rollins, that dude Rollins show, knowing he's a cyber coon. Because it leads. It is what it is. The reason he keeps going on the Breakfast Club, knowing that 3.2 of them are coons. He knows what's going on. He just knows that works.
Mm-hmm.
We can disagree and not be mad. Me and Dean don't agree on nothing. Do you understand? Nothing. Because I don't even think Dean should be a financial consultant. I think he should be a preacher. You either should be a preacher that doubles as a lawyer. That's what you do. I appreciate you for coming through. Did we drop Dean's link, Phil? Did I drop that link? Put it in the private chat so I can drop the link. Even though Gladys ain't letting y'all in, too many of y'all going over there. So Dean, is you gonna slide a few more people in? How many more people you think you slide in, bro? I don't want to overstack you.
Just know that you got to get on the schedule. You know what I'm saying? Like I have consultations, I have clients, I mentor. That's how the schedule works. We get on the calendar, we get on the schedule. And also, once again, just so people can, for the people who are watching and don't remember, I also own Atlanta Lights, which is the #1 restaurant and lounge in Puerto Plata. So at night and on the weekends, this is what I do. I run the #1 restaurant and lounge in Puerto Plata overlooking the ocean. Like I said, I'm red pill. I don't live in the United States of America. I live in the Dominican Republic. I do business all over the United States of America. I do business all over the world. But as you see, this is my restaurant and lounge. We are the #1 restaurant and lounge in Puerto Plata. You see me dancing with a Latina right there. I did not put her picture up because she's definitely not an Afro-Latina, but she's a Latina. You dig? But I said all of that to say, listen, I am not somebody that just talks about it. I actually be about it. I live this life. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not somebody that's sitting in their mama's basement and just talking a good game. I live it. I have the #1 best-selling author, business coach, life coach. I'm going to do everything in my power to help you reach your financial goals so that you can live this life too. And I just wouldn't follow nobody that doesn't have the reputation and have the ability to see it. And like I said, look, this is some of my staff. It is what it is. And look, notice I did not show them when I showed my screen because these aren't my friends. These are my coworkers. These are people that work for me. That's a different story. You understand what I'm saying? But listen, the only person stopping you from being successful is you. If you follow the link below to all the trucker, if you just go to DeanColeCoaching.com,
Put it in the chat.
You'll be able to see all my information, but there we are with that.
Thank you, sir. Listen, they saying they need a promo code, Jack. Listen, I can't do nothing about that promo code. And Dean stacked up because the promo code wouldn't help him being stacked up. But get in and see what time you can get in. I'm Audi 530. Appreciate you coming through, Dean.
You're welcome, boss. I appreciate you, man.
No problem. Don't do drugs. Listen, I didn't show the booty meat. Dean showed the booty meat. So don't come over here mad at me, talking to me. I didn't do that. We have to do our thing at the end of the situation and show love to the people who showed love to us. If you send your Cash App now, I will give you a shout out. Dorian West for the content, Flatbed Gang. Boosa, as always, y'all are going ham, my man. Leave Law alone. Ain't nobody picking on Law. Von Cobb, appreciate the love. He says this live is fire. I think this is Highway Journey. Says love the growth. Spirit Driven says for not blocking me since $50. I wasn't gonna block you, dog. I wasn't gonna block you. Gold Phoenix says always says okay. Anthony Arnett says Money Green Dean is spitting huge facts. I appreciate the love, man. Do not do. Did I get everybody? I get everybody today. Dan Smith and Mocha Mocha. Shout out to all of y'all for sending a Cash App and supporting content, knowing that the algorithm is not going to push the real, the worth, and the re-education. Also, before you get out of here, if you happen to be into Twitch, make sure you go over to Burning Miles and follow it immediately. Immediately. You called Atlanta Lights repping it immediately. Do not do drugs. Be happy. This is a place that you can now come and have a conversation. No one hates you. You can disagree. It's a safe place. Now, if you end up sounding stupid, that's your business, but it's a safe place. We're not going to beat up on you. That's the link right there for the Twitch Burning Miles. Everybody went over there and follow, see if we can get up to 300 today. Everybody went over there and follow that immediately. We do separate content over there as well. I'm Audi 530. I bid all of you, and when I say all of you adieu. Hit the Cash App for the love of the PayPal. Do not do drugs. And I also